Hello, everybody, and welcome to Saber Dice. It is Monday, and we are back with Numenera Fury, I hope. So yeah, with me here is the cast and crew. They have survived yet another day in the island of undoing, and they might be in trouble. They might be in some trouble. Let's go around, introduce these folks, and hear from our sponsors. We'll start with Kenny. Who are you? Where can we find you? And yeah, I think that's it.
So I'm Kenny Hill. You can find me at twitch.tv/Kenny Hill. It's pretty simple. And I stream mostly like safe for work, family friendly type content.
Fantastic. We'll go over to Bill. Bill, who are you, and where can we find you on the internet?
Hey, I'm Bill. I run a YouTube channel called Wyloch's Crafting Vids, and I show you how to use cardboard and hot glue and really cheap materials to make your own tabletop scenery for your games.
Sweet. We'll jump over to Jordan. Who are you, and where can we find you on the internet?
My name is Jordan. You can find me here on YouTube. Just search Forgotten Realms Explained. I run a YouTube channel on the lore and history of the Forgotten Realms.
Your channel is the only reason I care about Forgotten Realms. I was like, what's this about?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude. And
No,
I
it's amazing how many people are like I have a lot of friends who have actively told me they hate the Forgotten Realms, but they really enjoy my videos. And like secretly, I don't think you do then.
Yeah.
But
like I'm never gonna run a game in Forgotten Realms because it's just I don't want to read 30,000 books to get through it. But I'm just gonna these are fun, and I'm gonna steal all the ideas and put them in my game. And last but not least, Ted, who are you? Where can we find you? And who are our sponsors tonight?
Absolutely. I am Ted, or Nerdarchist Ted of Nerdarchy. We have a YouTube channel that talks about role-playing games, mostly 5th edition, but some generic role-playing tips, as per usual. Our sponsors for the foreseeable future, Dungeon Pater Studios or pyromancers.com. You can check them out for awesome campaign prep. You want to make some awesome maps for your campaign, for your session, that's a great way to go and do it. We also have Archania Workshop. If you want great 3D printed either miniatures, terrain, set dressings, what have you, they have it there and at great prices.
Sweet. Yeah, with that, let's jump right into things. Previously on Fury. After the harrowing rescue at the hands of unknown protectors, Zariff, Arri, Wyloch, and Silica were led, or carried, to Delorme, the city at the center, where they were treated to all the hospitality given to strangers of the island. Exploring the city, Silica attempted to employ her talents in charming some of the locals out of their guarded secrets, with added assistance from Wyloch and his newfound herbology skills, managing to garner some information regarding the Carols and their dangerous beliefs. Deciding to follow up and inspect the mysterious Tower of Life at the city center, it was quickly discovered that Wyloch, Silica, and Arri placed their hands on the tower. A symbol identical to their spider bites appeared, and when Zariff joined the act, the symbol burned into Ari's shoulder appeared. Feeling drawn here, an investigation into the tower began, revealing that they were somehow tied to it, and that it was far more than it seemed. However, before they could explore further, they were led to meet the city's chief, Burnerbow, where they were being questioned. It became very apparent that the constant vibrations of the tower had stopped. Kenny, I started mispronouncing. It took me 6 times to type his name. Bernice, Bernard, Bernendo.
Barnacle.
Yeah, Barnaby. So you guys are currently inside a large tent structure with lavish surroundings, sitting in front of Burnerbow, whose face has just shifted to that of anger and concern, while a young, rail-thin woman has aggressively taken Ari's shoulder and shoved it forward, exposing the sun symbol burned into his shoulder. And you guys have all realized that the rumbling and vibrations have stopped coming from the tower. What are you doing?
This rail thin woman has just like manhandled my friend, so I am not okay with that. So I would probably, this act of aggression, I'd be like, okay, stand up, slamming my hands on the table. Chief Burnerbow, what is the meaning of this? We have followed all of your rules. You have shown us nothing but hospitality. What's going on?
He leans back in his chair, and his face shifts back again to less aggressive. And he looks over at you and says, "My dear, that is exactly the question I have for you. What is the meaning of this? You have come to this island. You have been welcomed with open arms into my city, and yet my watchers report seeing your friends," and he glances over to Zariff, "poking around the tower, and now its life-giving vibrations have stopped. What is the meaning of this? Why are you here? Who sent you? Where have you come from?"
Your people said that we could walk amongst the town. All I did was walk around your tower. I did not touch it. I did not do anything to it.
People
Yeah,
have
he didn't
walked around
fly inside of it or anything.
No touching, absolutely no touching whatsoever.
He didn't find a hole in it either. It was totally fine the whole time. The hole was there when we got there.
It was broke when we found it.
Yeah. He leans into you and says, people have walked around the tower for years, and never has it stopped. Only when you did it. Only when you arrived. How do I know that you're not an agent of the Carols? And he glances towards the wall.
We know nothing of the Carols. It is only what your men have told us about who they are and what they want. We came here, as we have said, seeking the undoing of this storm that is a plague to our land, but yet it is untouched here. It can be seen in the distance, but it is clear should we look up when the sun is lit. If you wish us to investigate your towers to see why it is not clicking, why it is not moving, we can do this. But to act so aggressively without all the information, I believe your actions are premature, sir.
Make me an intelligence roll to convince him with that amount of sass. It's going to be a level 4. I'm sorry, it's going to be a level 4. Yep.
All right, intellect. Why are you not helping me?
I think we just saw Zariff show the most emotion he's showed the entire time.
Yeah.
It was 100% sass, but it was there was emotion. Success. Okay. So he kind of leans back and looks to you, and you can see him glancing to each one of you for an extended amount of time, and he stops on Silica. Remind me, what are you wearing? What do you look like? How much fineries are you wearing?
What are you wearing? So I am wearing and described as extremely stylish clothing. I believe is how it's described, and it's a sort of like a suit jacket, but with a mandarin collar. So I've got my little I think there's my little portrait in the overlay, and I've got this almost looks like hexagonal solar panel, but they're white. So it's only you can only see them because if the light hits them just the right way, they sort of shimmer, as well as something holding my hair back as well.
Okay. So he looks at each one of you for an extended amount of time.
So when he looks at me, I will totally just stare him dead in the face.
Okay, I like it. Continue the sass. So he looks to all of you in turn, and you see that he looks a little bit longer at Silica and sort of turns to you, Zariff, but he's still side-eyeing her. And he says, if you're not working with the Carols, what proof do you have that King Laird hasn't sent you to take what's mine?
So I will take a step closer. Hands not moving at all, so I'm not trying to draw any weapons or any of that. Our word.
I pipe up. We have no armies. We have very limited weapons. We did not come here to conquer you, to win. We're here. We're explorers. We're trying to understand what is going on with this storm. What is going on with your beautiful village?
Okay.
Help us help you.
Okay. So Wyloch, while this heated exchange is going on, what are you doing sitting there? Having stepped inside the tower and now hearing the vibrations have stopped and you being accused for it.
I actually got preoccupied with the guy's blurry shifting face. And so I've just been honed in on that for several minutes trying to figure out what it is, if it's Numenera or not.
Would you like to roll for it?
Could I?
Yeah. It's not Numenera, so you cannot use the Numenera skill, but you can roll intelligence to see if you can figure out what it is.
Okay.
You just tricked the DM into telling you it's not Numenera.
Yeah, sure.
What level?
This would be level 4. Nope. You can identify that it's not Numenera, but what else it is, what other feature, what could cause that, you're not entirely sure what that could be.
Okay.
And that could be because you don't know, or because you don't remember with whatever happened to you. The memory is not triggering. You haven't seen that in recent years, so to speak. So you're saying, my word. What? Okay. He sort of relaxes back into his chair and he nods, and the woman removes her hand from Arri, releasing your shoulder back to wherever it was. And you see her kind of like slink back into the tent. And anyone who's looking at her notices that she is glancing at all of you, like in rapid succession still, as if she's looking for something on you. Clearly she found something from Arri.
When she looks at me, having released Arri, I will, dryly say thank you.
She,
clearly no real thanks is meant.
Yeah. She has a wry smirk as you can kind of like see her out of your side periffs. Burnerbow looks forward and he says, "Well, if you're not here to take what is mine, and you're not here from the Carols, you said you're explorers. What do you want here? What are you doing? What makes you think that the storm leads you here?"
Your village appears to be the epicenter of the storm. It is radiating out from your island, and we believe your tower has something to do with it.
The tower grants life. Why would it create chaos in the storm?
We want to find out.
Does the storm affect the mainland? What? I don't understand. No one comes here. There should be no reason that a storm affecting the island would affect you.
Didn't we talk about trade routes? We talked about trade routes, right? Sea trade routes.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell him again.
Mm-hmm.
He has a worse memory than I do. Okay. Okay. Huh. So I'm like, okay, I am, good at like pleasant social interactions. And this is just like, what just happened? I feel like I'm having like a little deja vu moment. So I kind of concern almost, and then probably like, hello, small child.
Mm-hmm.
The trade routes of the steadfast are being affected, and we would like to come to a solution, not only for the steadfast sake, but also for your island's sake. Just like he is 5. And I'm explaining this
he leans into the
as possible.
So he leans into the side of the desk, and you see his face change back to the first face you saw, and he says, "Oh yes, of course, the trade routes. Now, how exactly can we help you with this?"
We want access to power.
Do you have any information about the storm and its possible linkages to this island?
No, the storm doesn't affect us at all. I don't understand why it would. The storm just has existed for a few cycles, I guess.
And we still don't have any idea how long a cycle is, right?
No. You know it's been several weeks for you guys. So you can assume, based on that, it might be several weeks, or this exists in a temporal loop and you have no idea.
Your island is the epicenter of the storm.
Yes, you said that. But the island hasn't changed, is what I'm telling you. The island has been the same as it always has.
Well, it's not actually the same as it always has been.
I don't understand. Why is it not?
Have you not noticed that there's no longer any rumbling?
Well, yes, that's new.
And prior to that...
Is he not freaking out about that?
It doesn't seem that this face is freaking out about it.
Prior to that, the shipwreck and the newcomers, they are new. The Carols, they were not always here. Therefore, the island is not always as it has been.
And you see his face shift again to the more aggressive one. He says, "Yes, I've noticed that. More and more of you mainlanders keep finding your way here and mucking things about. You seem to assure me that you're not one of them."
Arri raises his hand and he says, I'd like to ask a question. Yes. Has the stars always been the same, or have they changed recently?
Can't say that I've noticed. Why?
I'm just wondering if your island was teleported somewhere from someplace else and came here.
But memory serves, the stars don't change. The night the island closes.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Typical Arri.
10 out of 10. Nailed it. Yeah, so he kind of looks at you inquisitively, and his face changes back to the softer tone. He says, and you need access to the tower? What? It's just a tower. What do you think?
All right, so this is an out-of-game question to my fellow PC.
I was about to say, are we going to metagame this one?
No, I want your permission. Do we tell him about the symbol on the tower?
Or the tear? Like, we could go... They already know about the symbols. Like, they've noticed Ari's shoulder, so perhaps, like, that would be the safer place to start. Is, like, you guys seem to be bothered by all this. I don't know if that's going to make
And also, if they see symbols when they touch the tower, would be interesting to know.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a question, sir. And I point over my shoulder to the woman behind us, showed you the symbol upon our compatriot's arm. Why is this such a meaningful thing to you?
We have seen this symbol before. It's brought trouble.
It brought trouble.
Yes.
Are you aware that this symbol is on your tower? This beacon of life, as you call it, the symbol is there.
He leans back, and the face shifts again to the more shifty one. He says, "What symbol is on my tower? What do you mean it's on my tower? I don't understand. The tower has no symbol on it. It has lightning streaks and netting. There's no symbology on this. Only Terrace had this symbol."
Does he have
whoa. The what, who?
Only Terrace has the symbol.
Does he have parchment and quill on his desk?
Sure.
So I without asking, I grab a sheet of blank parchment, grab a quill, and I say, "This is the center of your town," and I draw the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And then I begin drawing the buildings until, like, around the circle, so that it matches the symbol on Ari's shoulder and the symbol that Wyloch held up. This is the center of your town. And I draw the line, and I point to the spot here on the ground. This symbol is on your tower.
How have you discovered this? What does this mean? And where did you get this symbol from? You, and he points to Arri.
It's kind of a complicated story. But the short version is I touched a blue glowing guy, and then his blue glowing energy kind of gave me this sweet tattoo.
He looks back to Zariff, almost like asking, like, you can tell it is like, huh? As he looks over to you.
Makes perfect sense to me.
You come bearing the mark of Terrace. You tell me that my city is organized in the mark of Terrace. And you tell me that you don't mean harm to the city.
Who is Terrace?
The leader of the Carols.
So the leader of the Carols knows of this symbol. This is something important to him. I take it.
She wears it like a tattoo.
Oh, it's a girl.
That's amusing because I have a guy in my game named Terrace, so I'm gonna be all confused.
Plus, it was gender non-specific, so you're fine. He didn't give you that was the first mention of a specific.
All right, so she has this tattooed upon her, as does our companion Arri. But your town is laid out this way. The tower that you revere has this symbol upon it. We keep coming across this in our travels. This is clearly a focal point. This clearly has something to do with our mission.
And to clarify, the spider bite symbol and my tattoo are different symbols?
They are different symbols, yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So your spider bite is different from the tattoo, and all of your spider bites are different from each other.
And they're referencing the tattoo.
They're referencing the one, the blue glowy guy one, the sun symbol.
I stand up. I'm looking beyond them at the wall, and I say, "You have a disturbing lack of curiosity, sir. Your tower has clearly been tainted by them," referring to the Carols. "Send us in. We're new here. They don't know who we are. Send us in."
What are you staring at?
I don't answer.
He does this. He's talking to you.
You are an uncomfortable man.
Burnerbow,
Thank you.
what my friend is suggesting is that since we are not a part of your city, we could go out and investigate the Carols. If we so have this mark upon our companion here, perhaps that is even more reason that this Taris might trust us and reveal information to us. We could bring it back here to you.
That made far more sense than what he said. So you offer to prove your allegiance to the city of the center by speaking to the Carols, Taris, finding out their true intentions and motivations?
We can glean what information that they might say and be able to bring it back here, yes.
But bear in mind, if we pledge ourselves to them, it's under the guise that we're doing that. So you may see us doing some strange things.
Stranger, I would imagine.
Just don't shoot us down if you see us acting not in the best interests of the city at the center.
I can agree to this, but if you come across anything that Melf and Matisse could use, and he kind of looks over at Silica and nods, and you can see that you still have your jug exposed, and he kind of
the
nods.
twins.
Yeah.
Yes, the twins.
You see
I liked them. They were interesting.
You see
Melf and Matisse?
Yeah, Miff and Matisse. I'll put that in chat
Miff.
for you. He looks to you and says, "You see the tower? It was literal. The tower gives life. With its vibrations stopped, I fear that it won't any longer. The island takes life as a whole. This was the safe place. This was why there was a city built here. You'll need as much of this as you can get. Tell Miff and Matisse that one for each of you on the house. And I expect reports."
You will have them.
Face. We will escort you from the town as a show of force. Throw you out. That should help your plan.
Good idea.
Thanks.
Is that before or after the drink?
Well, I would hope from before, or else you might not make it.
You mean after? Because we're gonna go get drinks. Because I'm interested in having more of these drinks.
Yeah.
They were good.
Did I say before? I meant after. Oh,
I go over, eye down, Tilda Swinton, and replace Arri's cloak on his shoulder.
Okay. Tilda Swinton. That took far too long to process. I was like, who the hell are you? Oh, because she's... Okay. All right. You can see her, as soon as you look at her, like full on, she has a similar Wylochian look, where she's looking directly at the gem in the center of your head, and nothing else about you seems to, like, she'll talk to anyone, she'll glance to other people, and the only spot she ever looks on you is this, as she looks at other people. Now that you're, like, facing her, you can kind of see that.
So is she tall, or is she?
Yeah, she's
average?
tall. She's like a good 6 foot tall and like rail thin, like a sprinter. Yeah. So Burnerbow kind of looks to you and says, "Well, You can stay the night and rest. We can throw you out in the morning. That makes more sense.
I think that would be a wise plan.
You can embed yourself with the carols. I will advise you to stay away from certain parts of the island. There's an area called the Death Cove. It's not a fun joke.
Don't go to Death Cove.
Good.
Got it?
Write that down. There is a... something. Marauders, maybe? They just wantonly kill. Best to stay away from there.
How do we
So,
get back in touch with you once we have found out the information that we need to from the carols?
That is a good question. Take this. And he opens up a drawer on his desk and he pulls out a small... it's like hexagonal, probably about the size of a baseball, and he kind of tosses it to you, and you can see that each of the hexes, so it's a hexagon with different like hexes inside of it that make it up. Each one of them has like different glowy lights on it. And he says, "Press the center there. It will alert a beacon. One of our guards will come to pick you up."
how do we avoid the Cephalian? I want no more parts of them.
Oh, you stay inside the city, my dear man. There is no... This is their island, after all. The Cephalian and... the other miscreants that live here. The Zunach. Reptilian scum. The, I think... The walkers is what I call them. I've heard them called the Angusk. They're mostly docile. You'll note them by their rows of legs. So many of them.
Rows.
And these Angusk and Zunach, are they worse than the Cephalium?
The Zunach actively hunt the Cephalian, so...
Oh, then why have you not teamed up?
Oh, because whenever my guards are out, they actively hunt them as well.
Oh, well, then that makes sense.
They've also mastered the Cephalian's webbing and used that in their own weapons as well. You okay, Kenny?
This is a dangerous place.
It wasn't-
Silica was like ready for an adventure, but everything kills you.
Yeah.
Everything's dangerous. So
Yeah, it wasn't an island of fluffy unicorns.
Yeah, this is the first real like test that Silica has faced. I'm young. Like I'm from like very wealthy background, had a pretty like padded life, sheltered. I've got fighting skills and diplomacy skills, but this is all just kind of it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
I think
Zariff, just another day on the job.
Yeah. I think Silica convinced herself that it wasn't going to be like this. Like, it'll be fine. It's just an exploration. We'll just talk to some locals, and it'll be fine. You get here, you're like, oh no, this is everyone wants to kill me. Nature wants to kill me. People want to kill me. Bugs want to kill me. Great.
There are bug people that want to kill me.
Bugs with hands want to kill me. Great. Love that. Big fan.
Die Hard vent line.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, if you dreams.
Yeah. So yeah, he begins rattling off the flora and fauna of the location, the Zanuk, or the Zunak, the Angusk, and he says he calls the Angus walkers, and you'll notice them by their rows of legs.
Centipede people, wonderful.
Yep.
Is there
With
any
hands.
local flora or fauna that we should like not eat because it's poisonous or hallucinogenic? I don't want that either. We've been there with the Philharmonic monster, and I'm done.
The Philharmonic monster.
The Philiathus. Philithus.
Oh yes,
That one caught me off guard. Okay. He looks to you and he says, as a matter of fact, there is, yes. On the northern side of the island, there's a place called the Calais Gardens. I wouldn't go there at all. I don't understand why it happens, but every so often We have other visitors. Not like yourselves, but these monstrous sea creatures just beach themselves on that part of the island and die. All of the fauna that grows there, all of the flora that grows there, grows out of their Leviathan corpses. Sure, it's not good for you. We avoid it. You'll know by the smell.
It's a small twinkle in Zariff's eye at that.
He's like, yes, Corpse Island. Let's go.
Yay,
It's safe there. I know that part of the island. He looks to you guys, or it looks mostly to Zariff at this point, because he seems to be taking charge, and he says, is there anything else? We topped up?
Is there anything, should we go out there? Yeah, you told us what to avoid. Is there anything that might be fruitful to the city? Did I hear you say in the intro it's called Delorme?
Yes.
Do we have that information?
Let's assume so. I'm sure someone said it in passing, whether there was context or not. But yeah, it's called Delorme.
Is there anything that would be beneficial to your city to further show a layer of trust that we might be able to bring back? The twins were very appreciative of a flower that Wyloch found.
Yes. Anything that they can use to make their tea. You find spare Numenera, they can make healing devices from that. And, of course, any cephalean spiders will serve as food, one less that we need to kill.
Well, I wish to avoid the cephalean, but should we come across any and slay them, we can bring them back as well.
Yes. If you wait till someone is ambushed by them and then ambush the ambushers, I hear that works quite well. And he kind of leans back and smirks.
I will not be bait. I will not be bait. I will not be bait.
Again.
Oh, I like Silica just realizes, I get it. We were bait. I understand now what was going on and why those hunters. Okay.
Did they bring the bodies back when they brought us back?
That's probably what Arri ate at the pub.
That's what Arri ate at the pub.
Okay.
Yep.
Bit of the hair of the dog, you know.
Yep. Hair of the spider. Perfect. 10 out of 10. Yeah, he kind of looks to you guys again and he says, well, trust is tantamount in this situation, but you'll understand if we place guards outside of the tent you were in previously.
That is fine.
I would speak to Miff and Matisse before the night comes, before the island closes. When it opens, you will be forcibly removed from the city.
Make it look convincing.
Will your city be safe now that the vibrations has stopped?
The city will be fine. It's the people inside. As long as we have ways to make the tea, it won't be so bad. But as I said, the island takes its toll on everyone.
So be it.
Cool. So he leans back, and you see the tall, willowy woman kind of open the tent flap, and one of the guards walks in. He says, if you'll come with me, I'll escort you back to your tent. He proceeds to lead you guys through the small city here back towards your tent.
Should we detour to pub first, or do we want to talk at our yurt before we pub?
Pub
first? All right, pub first.
So do you let him know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I assume, is this El Dorado who's leading us back? Okay.
Yes, it is El Dorado.
I mean, I'm not going to call him that to his face, but
Yeah, Jarl Corrado.
yes, the who seems to be like the militia leader. So I assume he's been eavesdropping outside the tent, so he probably knows it's okay for us to go to the pub. We don't have to like convince him.
You would assume that, wouldn't you?
I mean, I make all kinds of assumptions, but
yeah, no, he
I don't
has
trust anybody anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it's safe to assume. So if you mention that you want to go to the pub, he'll lead you guys right over there. And you see Myth and Matisse. Again, there's a different crowd of people in here, all similarly sat down around tables, enjoying their beverage, clinking glasses and leaving. And you still see they take their goblets and leave with them, or their canisters and leave. But you do see Myth and Matisse are currently there, and they kind of look to you, and as they see Jarl, they say, "Oh, you are back so soon."
I just loved your tea so much the first time. We came back for more. This time we're not paying though. It's on the chief.
On the chief. And they look to Jarl, and he kind of grimaces and nods his head. We have some left.
Is that how they say it?
Yeah.
Ah, son of a biscuit. I don't take any. Like,
you already have one, don't you?
We know that like they're gonna be okay if they have the tea.
Mm-hmm.
I am at pretty much full stats. My pools are looking good.
Mm-hmm.
And I have, I have some self-interest, but I would not, at the potential cost even to the townspeople, take more than my share. So I'm actually gonna have to turn that drink down.
How noble of you.
Isn't it? It's gonna kill me.
What about the rest of you? Do you take what's offered to you?
I haven't had one, so I'm going to try.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't either, so I'll try some as well.
And Wyloch, you don't actually have a canister. You just drank Silica's. Do you also take one?
Yeah, I just follow in suit.
Okay. So you see that each one of the twins, each one of you in turn, the twins look you up and down and kind of like size you up as if they're fitting you for a suit, right? And then they, slide rails across, kind of like an abacus. They hit a few dials, turn a few knobs, and then they start grabbing different. And each one of you gets different products off a shelf and out of a drawer and out of a cupboard, put into something, and you see it like swirl up through the, like, basically if you're making like beer, right? You see it swirl up through the condenser and go down through the coil, get heated up, and then bloop, 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 and it slowly fills the canister. When the canister is full, it ting, and a little light turns red, and and closes it and places one on the table, and the next one gets eyeballed in turn, and then different things get grabbed, and you see the liquid kind of spill out, and bloop, bloop, and then it gets put down. But it looks like each of you have the same kind of tea, in that it is a red liquid inside of a strange canister, but it was made with different things, different knobs were hit, different, dials were turned, so you're not entirely sure what the hell they just did, but looks the same. And Wyloch, when you drink it, it tastes the same. As the only person who's had it twice, it would taste the same when you finally drink it. So
it's good. It's good.
So my first, out of game, this restores, health and whatnot, right?
This, when you drink it, it will give you 2 might points.
Okay. Do you have to drink it now?
Nope.
So it's like a flask that I could seal up and save it for the road.
Yep.
All right.
Who knows what kind of expiration dates on those things, but
Well,
and who knows what toll the island takes on you.
There is that as well.
it's just I'm so noble. I'm so noble. I'm so noble.
I'm technically at 16 out of 21, and I can only I have to physically repair myself now. I can't use magic and things to cure me.
Yeah,
so
but as long as you have tools, you can take that as downtime when everyone's sleeping.
Right.
My might pool is fine. It's my speed and intellect pool that are down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna just attach it to my belt and call it good. With on the house, is he willing to give us a meal as well, or was it just a drink?
It was just a drink, but you can try to persuade them if you'd like, if you so choose.
I can see Zariff thinking about it, and I'm just gonna like the mom stare, just like, are you about to seriously try to swindle them out of a meal?
So I without words passing, I'll see what she's saying and I'll back off.
She shames you into starvation.
He'll be fine. Plus, it's like spider legs. Who wants to eat that?
Right? Yeah.
I don't have a problem with spider legs.
Arri ate it. It was totally fine. It's like eating a kiwi, but with extra hair. Totally.
Like a nice meaty kiwi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stringy a bit, you know. It was good.
Yeah. It's like when you have a corn cob and you didn't shuck it real well and you get those little strands in there, but it's like the whole thing is strands. So you'll be fine. So yeah, they hand you your beverages and kind of look to you and say, "Is there anything else?"
So I will actually, give them a shin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have many, but I will.
One of them reaches their hand over, picks it up, hands it to the other one. The other one takes it and puts it inside of a box on the shelf behind them. A meal, perhaps?
No, I'm good.
We'll see you soon.
Possibly.
Have
Take
a good
care of
day.
yourselves.
Oh, God.
What did you say, Jordan?
I said, take care of yourselves.
You as well. And at that, Jarl kind of leads you back out and towards your yurt. Opens the flap, watches you guys kind of go in, and leans in and says, "Will there be anything else?"
Is this our yurt that's connected to the tower?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that's all. I just said that like the twins. I didn't mean to.
Are you
I was
mocking
like,
the twins?
no, I promise I wasn't. I think that'll be all. It's
If
like
you need
in that
anything.
sort of dismissive tone that like he doesn't get to stay in the yurt.
Yeah, that Silica tone.
Yeah, the silica tone, that one.
He kind of looks to you and then glances to everyone else and says, "Well then, we'll be stationed outside all night." And he swings the tent flap closed and sort of steps out. You can hear him only take if you're listening, you only hear him take a few steps away from the tent itself.
Yeah, so
he hasn't gone
he's
far.
He's gonna keep an eye on us.
Yeah.
What that means is there's no wandering for us.
Right. Well, unless we're sneaky.
Right.
But I mean, we've already had free access to the town, so I'm not even sure like what else at this point we would discover, especially with night closing in and literally the island closing up.
If the island closes up, there's no
Right.
mechanics. There's no clicking.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? How crazy would that be? What if you guys broke the whole island?
Okay, it was broken when we found it. Remember?
It was fine when you found it. It opened and closed like normal and healed people and made noises.
So did it stop after Wyloch went in the tower?
You didn't notice it stopping until you were inside Burnerbow's tent.
Okay.
So we'd already done all the touching
Yep.
of the things.
I'd like to touch the tower now. Do we still see symbols? Is there still electricity running around it?
There is. There's still electricity running around it, and there's still a symbol that appears when you touch it.
Okay.
Yep.
It occurs to me we're going to need an inn. What's our story going to be?
Ooh.
Story time. Okay. So we can always pull we had different ideals sort of thing. They didn't trust us because we came from the steadfast, and obviously that is kind of half true. One of the personalities didn't seem to like us and are meddling.
You're thinking you're thinking too hard. And I walk over to Arri and I uncover his shoulder again. We told him the truth. He's got that symbol on him. Taris has the symbol on her. We are clearly agents of the Carols. They threw us out.
After keeping us overnight to interrogate us?
Because they think we stopped the tower from shaking?
That can
And then
work.
they don't want to have anything to do with us. Oh, I like this.
The more truth you lay into it, the more things that you tie into, their ideals and their story, the easier it's going to be to convince them.
But that skinny lady didn't force me down. I totally threw her over my shoulder and yeah, that part didn't happen.
No, that clearly happened.
I did not get beat up by a girl.
Yeah.
But I kind of did.
Semantics.
I
So
beat
in the
her
morning-
up and it exposed my shoulder. That's what happened. God damn it. Wyloch, go ahead. I'm sorry.
In the morning,
Yes.
await my symbol. but ruined it. In the morning, await my signal. And then I turn around and sit down and sort of stare at the wall as if meditating.
As if meditating. With no mention of what the symbol would be. Perfect.
That's all we're getting is wait for the signal.
Yes.
Okay.
This is safest place as any that we're gonna have in the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm.
So kick off the boots, lie back like I own the place and get a solid night's rest.
Okay. Cool.
When do the recovery rolls reset? After we've had a sleep?
Yes.
Do they go back to action? So we're gonna sleep.
Yep.
So how do we do that on the character sheet?
So right now you can spend your last. So the way it works is you can spend your 10-hour hit dice right now, your 10-hour recovery roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once you have spent your 10-hour recovery roll by taking a 10-hour rest, you now regain all 4 of your recovery rolls.
Oh, cool.
All right. So do we just spend up to the 10 hours? Is that how it works?
No, so it's whatever you have already spent. You can now spend the 10-hour, and then after the 10-hour, you regain all of them. So now once you wake up the next day, you have an action, a 10-minute, a 1-hour, and a 10-hour, right? So you can start spending them in the morning every time. It works kind of like hit dice, right? So you only have, you get them at the end of the day, and you can spend them throughout the day.
All right. So we have to manually change it back to the one action.
Yes.
Setup.
Yep.
And then we get to reset our pools.
No, you only heal based on whatever you heal.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you rolled a 6. So you're doing pretty good.
Oh, okay. All right. So that actually, I looked down and I saw the 3, and I thought that one was mine, but that was somebody else's. So.
That was me. But I only needed 1, so.
So you're fine.
Yeah. No, I'm almost perfect. Practically perfect in every way.
That's just your catchphrase.
I'm Mary Poppins now.
That's just Silica's catchphrase. Cool.
So I wouldn't have been able to spend my 10-minute and then my 10-hour.
Have you spent your 10-minute yet?
I had not.
Oh yeah. So sorry, that was unclear. So you can spend whatever you want to up to 10-hour if you haven't spent it yet. Right, so I know some people have spent their one action, some people have spent their 10-minute, and I know some people have actually spent their 1 hour. Yeah.
All right, so then after that, I will be completely full.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, once they're spent until you have a 10-hour rest.
Okay.
And it's a 10-hour rest, so I know some people are used to D&D terms. It's a 10-hour rest as opposed to an 8-hour rest because days on Numenera are 28 hours. For lore reason, I guess. I don't know.
To be different.
Yeah, to be different. So yeah, you guys recover all of your pool, your recovery dice, and if that's all you're doing, you guys can have a full rest in the quiet comfort of the non-vibrating tower.
I actually only sleep 38 minutes every night, including tonight. So by waking up 10 minutes early, can I go ahead and do my one action in 10 minutes also?
You sleep 38 minutes? Not 9 hours? Like everyone else?
It's I rest, right? I'm sitting there.
That's true.
Just my version of sleep.
That's true.
That's
so you literally sleep for 38 minutes, then wake up, and then you just meditate by staring at...
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what sleeping is for me.
I dig it. Yes. So yes, if you wake up from your 10 hours of resting in whatever form Wyloch takes of resting, you may spend your...
he was really hurt.
Yeah.
He was really hurt.
All right, so I got some pool. All right, good.
Cool.
Thank you.
So, upon the dawn, since no one looked outside, you guys can hear the kind of grinding of metal at night, and then again at dawn. Everyone besides Wyloch and Silica take 2 points of might damage.
Everyone but who?
Silica and Wyloch.
2 points of night damage.
Because we're special?
Sure.
Is this the new trope?
Nope.
Ah, dang it.
You were told that the island takes its toll.
Yeah, the island does take its toll, but why? But why?
And now that the life-giving force of the tower is amiss, everyone takes a beating. Maybe you guys shouldn't break towers. Whatever you guys want. So you guys wake up in the morning. So Zariff and Arri, you feel slightly like you know, if you go camping and you have that like stiff back kind of thing, you guys feel sore. And it seems as though Wyloch and Silica don't share the kind of soreness you guys are feeling. You seem almost a little drained. Like maybe you slipped on a rock or a root the entire time, but you can't seem to find that rock or root. But you wake up nonetheless. The four of you are in your tent alone still. And you can hear the slow bustle begin to move around you as the city comes to life. What are you guys doing?
Well, I'm perplexed by this puzzle. What did they do that Arri and I did not?
Are you asking in a meta sense, or are you trying to figure it out?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay.
And Zariff is not looking forward to going out, not on his game. And there's a puzzle pretty much right at the get-go. So he's trying to piece this out. So he starts, going through, like, we've been together. There really hasn't been a whole lot of time where we've been separated.
No, but we did separate because Silica and I went into that establishment with the twins, and she had that drink.
We were all there.
I did have that drink.
You had the drink. Wyloch had a drink.
Also had a drink that I got for him.
But didn't...
And the chief did say that as long as they have the tea, the town will be fine.
Did Arri drink the tea?
Arri didn't drink the tea. Sorry, I'm meddying, but the DM is smiling, so I'm Silica with her good social interactions as somehow feeling that in her universe, like, oh yeah, I think we're onto something here. I did not buy any tea. Anyways, so I think that's it. Silica's noticing that, and she somehow puts those pieces of the puzzle together as Zariff's like kind of talking to himself. Like, oh yeah, that's why.
I had spilled a little. There's a small stain on my cloak, which maybe you saw.
Yeah.
I assume there's always a small stain on your cloak.
Classic Wyloch.
What a slob.
Yep.
I'm a little grossed out by Wyloch, but he's a good guy.
I think Wyloch is occasionally grossed out by Wyloch, so I think it's probably fine.
Who's Wyloch?
Exactly. So yeah, you guys are kind of milling about inside your tent, preparing yourselves for the journey ahead. I assume checking some ciphers, messing around with some other things. Who is carrying the beacon? That is a cipher, by the way.
I am. So I should have asked that when I received it. That is a Numenera device. I probably need to leave my magic loofah behind. Which is the flotation scrunchie or whatever.
Okay.
I have it written down as magic loofah.
I was like, what is the what did I give you that's a magic loofah? Jeez.
Keep up, Michael. Come on.
Yeah, I didn't make that.
Down that way, but I did.
I didn't make that KENI leap.
You could give that to the twins.
I do want to leave that with Eldorado and have him convey that to Mift and Mastis. I'm not actually sure.
Miff and Matisse.
That one.
God damn it.
You're destroying his world.
I was like, I'm not going to try to ruin your game, but...
No, I love it. I'm a fan of it. It hurts less than puns. We're fine. So yeah, you give that to Jarl Corrado to give to the twins. Okay.
All right, so I check, bootlaces, make sure my daggers are there, the forearm blade works, there's no issues with the bow, make sure all my arrows are there, going through like the typical I'm starting a new mission checklist, just to make sure that everything is in fine and working order before we have this unceremonious kick out. I'll suggest that before we get within sight of the walls that we put some dirt on our clothes, on our face, look like there's been some kind of scuffle, just to make it a little bit more real.
I put a little less dirt on my clothes than maybe other people are putting on their clothes because I'm wearing white.
You put it on like your pants and your
hard
face.
It is to wash.
Like you put it directly around the clothes, like like somehow the ground missed your shirt.
Yep.
Perfect.
That's fine. You block the ground with your face.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it. Is there anything else the rest of you are doing to prepare to be thrown out of the city?
I'm just tweaking my arm, making sure everything's working correctly, using my tools and stuff.
Okay. Make me a repair roll to fix those last points of damage.
What's a repair roll?
Do you have training in repair?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, then it would be an intelligence roll, and we'll call it a difficulty 3.
I mean, how long has he had this arm?
Not that long, right? You've only had it for, what, a few months?
Yeah. That is correct. So that is a success.
That is a success. Okay, cool. So with that, actually, what does it say for you? Does it just say you can't recover them unless you repair?
So yeah, my understanding of it is the top 5. So I have 21 might, and so when I get to 16, even magical healing won't repair any of that. I have to like repair it myself, and I always thought that just meant that I had to use the downtime points. Like I had to roll those points and use those to make the might go up. Like
no, so it's actually you have to roll the repair skill.
Repair.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, yep. It is the downside to being part robot, right, or part metallic. You have this enormous pool of might you can draw from, larger than most other people. But that's how that works. So you do recover, but that's bad on me for not knowing how much you recovered. So I will find that out for you before I try to kill you. Don't worry.
So it says instead you must use repairing skills and abilities to restore those points. For example, if you start with a full might pool of 10 and take 8 points of damage, you can use recovery rolls to restore 3 points, but the remaining 5 points must be restored using repairing methods.
Yes. So how much that restores is the question at hand, which I will find out or make up. One of the
Sounds
two.
Good.
So for now, we won't worry about it because you're not in combat. So I'll find out before you get killed by anybody.
Okay.
So, is Jarl there? Is he outside the tent?
He is outside the tent. I assume Silica has kind of come out to greet the day and introduce herself or reintroduce herself to him and hand him the floater. So he is out there. Yes.
One final question before we start this journey. How much of this tea is supposed to be drunk before to stave off the effects of the island? Is it a full, and I hold up the flagon, or is it just merely a sip?
The full tankard, yes.
Okay.
It's not a cure. It's not indefinite. It only lasts a few days.
Oh, okay, good. Like audible sigh of relief as I like overhear it. Like Zariff and Eldorado are like a couple feet away, and I'm doing yoga or whatever I do, but and I just like audible like deep breath sigh of relief when it's like, yeah, the effects of it will last a few days. I'm like, okay, that's great. Because like I may be noble, but I don't look forward to pain.
That's fair. Not a bad.
I'm standing next to Arri, and I sort of lean in and say, "A genuine reaction is best." And then my eyes go white, hands flare up with purple, shoot towards the sky, and I cast Onslaught. And I'm shooting a bolt of energy, but I'm targeting the sky. I'm shooting straight up. It blasts up 100 feet, and it explodes like a firework. You could hear it for miles around.
Okay. A genuine action. Oh no. And only Arri knows, so everyone else's reaction. So first of all, Silica and Zariff, completely unaware of what just is about to happen, how do you react to seeing a flare explode out of Wyloch and blast the sky?
Do we actually, is Wyloch, are you outside the tent? Or are you still in the yurt? Did you just blast a
I
hole
thought
in
we're all outside talking to Jarl, getting ready to be walked out and
Okay.
thrown out. So I'm
Uh-huh.
I'm sparking it off.
I am obviously, I'm very shocked. I have no idea that this is a plan. I'm wondering if like Wyloch has gone off the rail. I mean, more off the rails than he already is, and leaving the reservation completely behind.
So
I draw my weapon because I feel like there is some sort of there must be some sort of imminent danger if Wyloch is like shooting off fireworks.
So I go into full combat role, tucking away from everybody, and I pull out the weapon as well, ready to go. Before it's like, oh, this is a plan here.
So hopefully it's morning, so hopefully like the villagers are around and they've seen this and they're freaking out. So then I turn to Jarl and I say, all right, best you throw us out.
So you blast the sky. You see both of your allies pull weapons. I assume Arri reacts in just utter confused shock. That seems like...
Yeah. So he's like really confused, and then he looks at Wyloch, and he's like, "Oh," and he gives like a nodding smile or like a nod, and then he throws himself back as far as he can and lands flat on his back in the dirt. Like, what was that? What's happening?
Oh, you meant react to this.
Yep. He's not very good at it.
Okay. Perfect. So the moment you blast the sky, and then Silica and Zariff pull out weapons, you see that Jarl just looks confused at what the hell just happened because he was just having a pleasant conversation with you. But you see the rest of the guards take on a similar Silica mentality, and all of the guards begin drawing their weapons. And they seem to be made of you've seen the archers, but these guys seem to have large bone or some kind of calcified almost boomerang. A closer inspection will reveal that it's basically like the leg of a cephaline that these guys are pulling out, and they're pulling out different parts of tree trunks, and you see one guy slide out. It looks like the spindlewood, the vines that kind of wrapped you guys up in, is sliding out like a whip of the spindlewood. And these four guards are approaching you aggressively. They'll kind of overlook Arri as he has thrown himself onto the ground at the mercy of the guards, it seems, as they aggressively come towards you and begin to grab you, Wyloch. And before Jarl can even react, they begin to rough you towards the gate, almost in if you don't come with us, this is going to be trouble. They seem to not really understand what's happening. You might have just attacked them. You hear that you hear that Jarl kind of grabs one of them, and you see him hurriedly whisper and then point towards one of you. And they seem to he runs back, and they seem to less hostilely push you, but more guards come and they start manhandling Silica and Zariff, and someone scoops Arri off the ground, and there is a scuffle towards the main gate of the city, and you can tell that once it starts to spread around, the guards seem to be shouting louder than necessary so that their voices carry, but the whole town is confused as to what's happening. And you see Myth and Matisse walk out of the tavern, and they both simultaneously cross their arms. We knew they were bad news, as they are shoving you towards the door. The door grinds on metal as it wrenches open. The two guards outside quickly look in, equally confused as the rest of the town, as you are thrown unceremoniously out onto the dirt. And then the door is closed behind you, the massive city gate. You now find yourselves covered in dust, and what little dirt that Silica attempted to get on her white shirt is now kind of covered in it as she was thrown onto the ground.
I'm dusting myself off. Dirty savages.
Arri says, "We'll get you next time." And I turn to Wyloch and I wink.
So
how do I stop the stream?
We're gonna need a quick break.
So I unceremoniously, stand up, not dusting a bit of dust or dirt off, and begin heading directly towards wherever that, contingent of Carols was.
Yeah, so as soon as Silica says "dirty savages," you see the other two guards who didn't seem to know what was going on kind of look aggressively towards you, and they're still wielding those two tined like pitchforks, and they sort of step in towards the gate when Arri says, "We'll get you next time." Ding. They sort of step in defensively. As if they think you're going to attack. And Zariff, looking around, you can see that outside that ring of clearing around the city, you see that there are a few people kind of pacing the wood line in those same long blue hoods. So you can see them. There doesn't seem to be the contingent that was around the side of the gate kind of milling about. You're not sure if it's too early for them or what it is, but you do see the ones that are kind of walking around in the wood line.
All right, straight towards them.
Okay. The rest
Like
of
an
you?
arrow.
What are the rest of you doing?
I'm getting up from my knees saying, yeah, they'll buy that. We got to keep it up. Follow him. And I take off running after Zariff.
Okay.
Only just now realizing that this is the plan. I am still miffed that my clothes are dirty, and so I'm kind of just like begrudgingly following behind, but I'm mostly just focused on trying to dust myself off.
Was the signal.
Yeah, I follow suit. I just run into the jungle after Wyloch.
Like, what? It's the signal! As he runs away, just shouts it back. So Silica, you are the last to enter the wood line, as you are very concerned with the state of your attire. So you guys make it there. Zariff, you make it first. And you see that the man in blue, for it is a man, is watching you run towards the wood line. And when he registers the fact that you're clearly running towards him, you see him like take a few steps back, and he reaches inside of his cloak as if to pull something out.
I didn't run.
You
strode
towards him. Yeah. Once he realized that you were walking to him and not just into the woods, he begins to reach into his cloak as if to pull something out.
So I will keep my hands, visible. I'm not going to be like, I surrender and that kind of stuff, but I'll keep them out to the sides so that it's obvious that I'm not trying to draw the weapon. But as I bead in on whoever I would be able to guess, what you said, there's like 3 of them there.
There's just one. This one. You see that there are people milling about. Like there are people. You can see that there seems to be some kind of like almost sentry patrol, right? I think Zariff would kind of notice that. They're not like equidistant apart, but there's definitely like a one, and then a good 10, 15, 20 feet, another one. They seem to be around as if watching the city.
So as I get within clear visual distance, I'm going to without verbal, I'm trying to lock eyes with the guy or girl that's there.
This is a guy.
Try to lock eyes with him, and try to acknowledge that this is a talk.
Okay, so you kind of like put your hands up in like a non-aggressive way, and you see him like take a few steps back, but his hand slowly leaves the robe and drops down to his side. He says, "Go ahead."
So when I was going to get like 10, 15 feet away, just confident as all get out, take us to Taris.
Who are you?
Does it matter?
Yes, if you mean Taris harm, then we won't take you anywhere.
I look back over my shoulder. Did you see that?
Yes.
Do you think we mean Taris harm?
It seems as though you meant the city harm. Who's to say, 2 birds, 1 stone.
Aren't you against the city?
I am, but I'm for Taris. What business do you have with her?
We wish to speak with her. Did they catch up by now?
Yeah, he kind of looks over your shoulder and says, "All of you."
So, I grab the cloak over, Ari's shoulder, and push it to the side. Is that enough proof?
That is. This way. And he reaches over and pulls the cloak back down. Follow me, and begins to lead you through a very obtrusive path through the forest that sort of seems to dart in and out and around strange trees. As you kind of circle to the opposite side of the city, And on this side of the city, the trees grow a little bit denser, kind of like the when you were walking through the forest and there were those spool woods the first time, except these aren't those willow type trees. It just seems to grow denser as he pulls you further away from the city. Eventually, you begin to see that there are these strange metal rods sort of jammed into. They don't seem to be jammed into the metal of the structure itself, the island itself, but they're jammed into either roots or logs or fallen flora and fauna, and they seem to be in the ground somehow, right? And each one of these has a little small beacon on it that seems to be blinking, and it forms almost a path of torches, so to speak, to a small tent camp. And this tent camp is ragtag, and you can see that like some of the tents are sewn out of jackets, pants. It looks like these are like made out of clothes, sails, pieces of a ship that were dragged up here. Basically anything they could carry to make a small town. And there's about 5 or 6 little tents, and there's about 20 people milling about here. And you saw probably a good conservative 10 or so sort of wandering the periphs of the city itself. So your guess is a good 30 people live here in these few tents. But you're brought to this area, and as soon as it breaks into what makes for the clearing of the town here, the guy you're with looks to you and says, "Wait here, I will get her. Don't touch or talk to anyone."
So I kind of like go make sure that we're all together. It's like that was easier than I thought.
I was exploring the tower. This guy scurries off. He scurries off, and you see him poke his head into several of the tents, and then you see him scurry and talk to some other people, and then he disappears into the wood line on the opposite side of the town, to return a good 5 or 6 minutes later, and with him is a tall, attractive red-headed woman, with the same blue cloak. The hood is down, and you can see emblazoned on her chest is that symbol, and it's probably like a good 6 inches across. It takes up her entire clavicle, I guess.
Is it a necklace? Is it on her shirt, or is
No,
it like
it appears to be
on her?
It appears to be a tattoo.
Hopefully we can get some serious answers as to what that is.
Is it glowing like Arri's tattoo, or
Nope.
is it like a tattoo?
It doesn't seem to be glowing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and you see the man that you were with, like, hurriedly speaking back and pointing and talking to her and pointing at you guys, and she has that almost Zariff-like stride of confidence as she kind of cuts through people as she wades through the residents of her town towards you, and she stops and says, "I'm told you're looking for me."
Indeed. And I kind of look to Silica. This is your territory.
Yes, we're looking for you. Still dusting myself, trying futilely to dust myself off at this point. I'm not giving up.
Mm-hmm.
You're the reason we're in this mess.
I
We're
am
thrown out of that city because of this. Lifts unceremoniously, like almost disrobes Arri.
Guys, I can dress and undress myself.
I feel like everyone is just manhandling Arri.
I was gonna say something, but I figured, I don't want to be next.
Because of this, just kind of flashes her with the tattoo, and we want answers. I've kind of lost a little bit of like the bossy Silica diplomacy because I don't want to be dirty.
That's fair. She looks to you and says, "And how is this any business of mine? I don't care what markings you bear or why you're thrown out of the city, and I don't owe you any answers. Who are you, and why are you here?"
We are from the Steadfast.
Great.
You seem to have people from the Steadfast here. I assume we would have noticed that people some of them probably look different than others.
So all of the people you've encountered look like normal people from the Steadfast. They just dress oddly.
Really?
Yeah. The only weird person you've seen, well, the twins are weird because they're just weird. But the only really weird person you've seen is Burnerbow because his face changes.
Okay.
But everyone else looks like a person of the Ninth World.
So, Taris, we came to this island investigating the storm that can be seen without. You have noticed the storm, yes?
Yes, who wouldn't?
Well, upon entering the town, it became apparent to their leader that the same sigil that you so brazenly wear also occupies the shoulder of our compatriot here. He assumed that we are in league with you, interrogated us, and threw us out.
And you seek refuge here amongst mine?
We have a mission. We are looking to figure out the storm. The little bit of information that they gave us in trying to garner information from us is that you have opposing views on the tower, and I noticed that the tower has a similar resemblance in the layout to the sigil that you so bear, as does our companion.
The tower bears this symbol.
Yes.
In what way?
As in...
It's hard to describe, but in 10 dimensions.
It physically has the symbol etched upon it, and vertically, if you were to look down upon it, the town center is composed of that sigil.
What about 10 dimensions? What?
Inside. The symbol's inside.
Inside the tower? You were inside the tower.
More or less.
What? You were more or less inside the tower?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to describe this, but I was able to look inside. I saw the symbol and I saw it from 10 different perspectives, 10 dimensions.
You were more or less. Yes, I was. No, what? Damn it. How did you...
Interstellar.
How did you get inside the tower?
And I paused for a moment, and then I use my exist partially out of phase.
Mm-hmm.
I go partially out of phase, and my whole body sort of like a copy of it shifts. There's one like 2 inches to the right, but it's much it's like transparent, glowing blue. And just see if she understands what I might be capable of.
Yeah, she sort of leans in and looks to you and says, oh, it's interesting.
They seem to follow some sort of eternal life in that city. I find it perverse. Do you?
Very much so, yes.
Ah. So I look over to Silica.
Who's still brushing herself off, hoping that the dirt comes off her shirt.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah. Just I've moved on to the pants and hopefully like trying to maybe salvage those, which are also white. So still patting myself down. Kind not wanting to let on, that I do have any sense of diplomacy, even though it may have left me. I'm like, we're just here on a mission. We're tired of getting the runaround from those tower folk. Nothing they said made any sense to us. We just want to find out the cause of the storm and be on our way. And we'll do whatever we have to do to make that happen.
Don't know what the cause of the storm is, but I would assume it is the vengeful god that is this island.
If you don't...
God? Not again.
If you don't mind my asking,
yes.
What is that sigil to you?
This symbol here?
Yes.
This is the symbol of my god. The island.
Gods.
What is it to you?
Harmonic monsters, fate.
And she looks to Arri.
Question: is this actually a tattoo, or is it more like, I always envisioned it like scar tissue or something, or is this actually like, does it look like ink? What is it?
It looks like it is, it doesn't look like it's scarification. It looks like it is affixed to her body in some way. It's not glowing like yours. It's not glowing like yours, but it looks, so as far as you can tell, it looks like it's ink, right?
He's talking about the one on him.
Oh, the one on you.
Well, both actually.
Okay,
yeah.
so the one on her looks like it's ink. The one on you is on your metal arm. So it's it's essentially, if you think of like the way a brand works, but on metal and blue.
So like a metal etching?
Yeah. Yep. Like someone scribed it out of your arm, and it glows blue now.
I tell her, to me, this symbol means pain. It means death. Because that's how I acquired it.
That is what the island takes from you, yes. Indeed. Good.
How are you able to stay on this island away from the life-giving tower and survive? I, myself, have felt the effects of this island, probably because of this symbol on my arm. How are you able to survive out here?
We don't.
Really?
And she kind of
What
leans
do you
forward.
mean you don't?
She leans forward and points to a group of the people, and you can see that the group she points to, they're kind of hunched over and like withered, as if they are drained.
Arri does.
That is why people of Delorme must be stopped. Their tower, there's a sacrilege. It restores what the island takes from you. The island must be. It takes its toll for a reason. It's to wash you of your previous sins.
I look over at the people that are like withered. Are they like husks? Are they like dehydrated? Like what?
Yes, they look. Oh God, I never remember that word. Yes, they look like husks. I can't think of the word.
Emaciated?
Emaciated.
It's not. There's another word for it that's way cooler sounding, but they're emaciated, right? And exsanguinated. That's the word.
Oh,
They look
gotcha.
exsanguinated. They look like shriveled and like they're wasting away.
So you would see the tower laid low?
Yes, of course.
Have you done anything recently to try and achieve that?
No, we can't get in the city. All of our attempts are thwarted by Jarl and his nonsensical zealots.
So you used to belong to that city.
Me? No.
No? Were you from Steadfast?
I don't talk about where I came before this. I am here for a reason, and the island takes of me my past sins.
What do you call your god?
Don't. Haven't given it a name. The god of the island.
I like reel back as in shock. Like that's kind of unheard of, isn't it?
It's a
Not
little.
name
I mean,
a
so
god?
like, so there's different religions in. This is something you guys would know. So there's different religions in Numenera, in the Ninth World, right? Most of the religions are real culty. The primary religion of the Steadfast is the Aeon priests, and they believe that like the Numenera is salvation, right? Their whole business is the study of Numenera for the betterment of the world. Whether that's true or not is a different story. But there are other factions of like, I believe in this god or this god. They usually have a name for their god, like the three-legged lady or something weird. So having like a personal name for it is not unheard of. It's not also common. So like the god of the island is a little strange, but it's not entirely unheard of. But it might be strange to Zariff.
I mean, I have worked for a lot of Aeon priests. So.
Mm-hmm.
Where is this god? I'd like to meet him.
What?
The god of the island. He's here. You say he exists. Where is he at?
He exists in the island. He is the island.
How do you commune with him?
I reach down, I take some dirt off the island, and put it in his hand.
He says, what would we need to commune with the god for? He draws us here and he exacts his toll for our sins. I don't understand. Would you have words with him? You ask him for forgiveness? He won't grant it. He takes what he needs.
Then why is the tower there?
A testament to our failures.
I'm Silica as a whole, because she doesn't like the philanthropy monsters and the idea of fate and now these gods. She does not want to have anything to do like she has like lost interest because it seems like none of this has anything to do with the core mission, which is finding out what is causing the storm. Everyone's like, well, yeah, the storm's out there, we noticed, but like we don't have any idea what's going on. And they seem to be having their own like civil war essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And so Silica is just like kind of losing her temper, I guess, because she's on a mission and she does not want to be thwarted in that. I don't want to be thwarted in that. And everyone wants to talk about gods and fate and everything.
Everyone keeps thwarting you, and you're done. You're sick of it. You're sick of the thwarting.
And I'm dirty.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it.
I don't want to be dirty.
And who knows how long before you take a shower?
I don't think they have showers here.
They don't. You're on a subtropical island of hell.
And it clearly doesn't rain because the rain's part of the storm that's way out there.
Yeah. Yep. There's no ecosystem when the egg closes.
Did the egg close last night?
You didn't check outside. You heard the noises, but you didn't look outside.
Okay.
Yeah. And in the morning, you heard the noises again, but, you know, when you went outside, it was already open. She looks to you and says, what questions would you have for the god of the island? What could you possibly want from it? First
and foremost, you know, we're on a mission. We need to know what we can about the storm. This island seems to be the center of it all. This symbol keeps popping up in our mission, on the tower, on you, on Arri, on the tower, in the town. It all means something. There's a connection.
But clearly, you are correct. You are connected here. You must have great past sins, and the island has summoned you to be washed clean of this. Wouldn't you agree? She nods, looking at all of you.
So I honestly wouldn't know.
So how does your how does your faith wash the sins?
And again, she motions to the withered people and she says, the longer you stay here, the more your sins are cleansed from you as the island extracts what it needs.
So you just stay out here until you die?
Yes. Unfortunately, the heretics inside the city walls, they are kept alive by some kind of means. They must be purged. Their lies, their heresy, their concoctions, their tower, it must be brought to ruin. Is this something you would help us with?
That's a possibility if you were able to help us with our mission.
I would assume that the god's storm is to bring his vengeance to the ninth world as a whole. Is this not what you want?
This god is new to us.
You are not the first.
There's been others.
Go ahead.
The others. So Ari's asking about the others. Who taught you about your god?
I have been here for some time. These, and she points to, you can kind of see behind the withered people, they seem to be actually circling around someone. As she kind of points again, you sort of notice this person. The person looks like they're so weak they can't stand unaccompanied. This one. She lived inside the city walls, and she told me everything I need to know about it, the god, everything. When the ship crashed here recently, I quickly made my way there and welcomed them to the flock.
Did, this is, Zariff is, thinking, do we know when on Steadfast we got information about the storm?
Yeah, so the call to arms, right, the behest of the king was 3 weeks ago. Summoning all viable researchers, explorers, etc., etc. And you guys got there with quick time, right? And so it took you, so it got 3 months, 3 weeks, sorry. It got put out. You guys got the word. You made your way there. It's probably it took you probably a week to get out to this island. You guys have been at sea for about a week. So yeah, that's roughly the timeline. It's been 3 weeks since you knew the storm existed.
How long ago did the ship crash here that brought new people to your mission?
2.5 cycles ago.
Is a cycle roughly 7 days of this island closing?
Yes.
Bingo.
So yeah, I think we would like to speak with some of these newcomers and see if any of them know about the storm.
Yes, it would. Yes, they converted quite easily. It would help if you spoke with them and they would assist you in your conversion as well. I could see that. Occasionally my approach is brusque, I will admit, but perhaps that is what you need to realize the truth of our God. And she sort of gently pats Arri on the shoulder, like almost petting his shoulder. Yes.
I can dress myself, guys.
I
Was
don't
that-
need this.
Handled
I
Arri.
don't need this.
Ari, did you give consent?
No means no, no means no, no means no.
Oh no.
Oh.
Poor
So real
Arri.
quick, the last couple minutes, I've noticed that there's lots of followers apparently that are withered, and the island's taking its toll. But this high priestess seems to be totally healthy. So it's like, she a hypocrite? She not on the level? So I have
What?
sense magic.
I feel that too. I don't like her.
What?
So I can
But
sense
she's got
whether
the
Numenera
tattoo and everything.
is active. Oh, I can just put this in the chat. So I'm wondering, over the past couple of minutes, have I noticed anything since Numenera, since magic, I guess it's called? I don't know what the difference is between that and identify Numenera.
So identify new. So it works think like 3.5, right? So sense magic lets you know that there is Numenera around. Identify it lets you know the function level and how to use it, kind of thing.
Detect magic and identify.
Right. There you
Okay,
go.
so I'm basically trying to detect magic.
Yep.
Focusing on her.
Yeah. Red flags. Go up. She has Numenera about her.
So let me ask this question. When you said at the start of the day, we take 2 off our pool, is that I can rest this back, or is that just gone?
You can rest it back.
But probably the next day it's probably more.
What? What do you mean?
Okay, so she's gonna lead us to Wyloch. Do you try to signal? Don't actually try to signal to anybody. Never mind. But yeah, I don't have sense magic or anything like that. But she gives me the creeps. I don't like her. I mean, I'm already in a bad mood. But
Yeah.
Something I have not liked the Aeonic priests in the past, and
Yep.
all of the fate and the god stuff is just rubs me the wrong way. And so her kind of high priestess attitude and the very lack of withering, it just gives me a bad feel.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I just see her as an obstacle to the mission.
So are you following her lead, or are you requesting that she lead you over to the other
Yeah, I mean, we'll play
Castaways?
along to get information, but I feel like most of us would trust her as far as we could throw her, which, I mean, besides Arri, is not very far,
right?
probably. So,
Yeah. She keeps rubbing Ari's shoulder, so he might not throw her at all. So if no one has any questions for you, for her, she kind of sweeps an arm, that same high priestess callous kind of, and she says, "Well, this way." And she begins to lead you through the crowds of people. And you can get close looks, and for some reason, again, everyone is in these blue cloaks. And there are as you kind of pass through, you see that the people that are standing around the crushed woman, right? They look basically like they've had the fluids removed from them. Their skin is like very like tallow, and it's very like withered, and like there's no muscle density to their bones, and they're just sort of there and exist in this shriveled form. And the group of them that are around the older woman, you're not really sure. They're speaking in hushed tones, and they treat her in like reverence, as if she's given all to the god, and therefore she is deserving of some kind of higher praise than, a fresh incumbent to the tribe here. But you are led through the tents, and you see a group of people sort of meeting, and then they begin to break away and start to head back toward the circle, like the clearing. Before you go, she grabs one of them and says, "Excuse me, these people would like a word with you." And she motions to you.
How does the person react to her grab?
Fine.
I'm trying to get a read on like how the newcomers are actually dealing with the situation.
So
the priestess is going to say whatever thinks they like, what sounds good.
Yeah, whatever she wants you to believe, right? So she grabs the person. They start, as anyone would when grabbed. But then when they realize who it is, they sort of bow and they look to you and they say yes. And their voice kind of adopts like this slow, monotone kind of thing. And they kind of turn to you and say, "Hello, my name is Pelu. What can I do for you?"
Pelu, we want to hear about your time here on the island. We understand that it hasn't been very long.
That is correct. I have been here for what they call 2.5 cycles.
And how has your experience been?
It's been.
I don't want to like sound too interrogating. I want
to be as
friendly,
nice as possible. Yeah.
Right. But like I'm also
I'm
like highly scrutinizing like the body language because like that's very telling.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like contain myself because like I would normally want to give them the 3rd degree, but I understand that that's not going to be the best way to get to the answer. So Silica's way is much gentler, much nicer, and probably going to lead to much better success. So I'm like kind of sitting back, biting my lip,
I was kind of hoping you were going to try to be nice.
Nice is hard for me.
Equally good. Yeah. So they look to you and say, "My time here has been fine. The people here of the Carols, they have taken us in and shown us hospitality and mirth, and we had no way back home to Glavis, and these people have been kind enough to take us in, and they've showed us the error of our previous ways." And at the mention of Glavis, all of you, maybe not Wyloch, all of you recognize the name. Glavis is a city, large city, far to the south of the Sea Kingdom of Gon. It is in a region called Akuan. And you know that it is one of the 9 rival kingdoms. King Asaur Mentir is the ruler of that land.
I'm sorry, a sour monkey? What?
Yes, a sour monkey is the ruler of that land, as far as Silica knows.
What is that in relation to the Steadfast? Is the Steadfast?
It's part of the Steadfast. So the Steadfast is made up of the 9 rival kingdoms, or the 9 rival kings. Akuan is one of them. It is a coastal city, like the Sea Kingdom of Gon. Not in direct competition, right? But when you're the Sea Kingdom of Gon and you control the entire merchant fleet, everyone with the coastal city is competition, right? So this ship is from Glavis, which is the capital of Akuan.
So that piques my interest because, being from the Sea Kingdom of Gon and knowing that we should be controlling these trade routes, what were you doing sailing in our waters, friend?
Oh, it is simple. We were misguided. We were sent here to bring the teachings of Aurelia and Baines as far out as we could. Yes, of course.
You're
So-
missionaries who got converted to a different religion.
We were
You're not-
we were
not
shown that
very
we
good
were
missionaries.
we were shown that we were wrong. Our gods would not have let us crash here if they were real. The priestess, and he looks over to Taris and says, she has explained to us the error of our ways, and she has shown us that this god is more present here, and we can feel his presence as he exacts his toll upon us.
So realizing that, Silica's kind of getting a little accusatory.
A little snappy.
Yeah, because I realize they're religious people, and I'm like, well, no, duh.
Like, son of a gun.
I step in, and I can remember the city of Glavis from my last trip. The sun's reflection on the waters and the towers was a true sight to behold.
Yes.
How do you remember it?
I remember it much the same. It isn't the city that we fled from. We have no way back. Glavis is as it always was.
What if we told you that we could take you home? We came here upon a ship, but we did not wreck. We have a boat that sits at the edge of the island. I'm sure you must miss your families. I start getting into like pulling at the
Wow.
heartstrings.
Wow.
I know, but wow.
Manipulative
like
Silica, huh?
Now, 8,
I will
9.
bribe
Yeah,
my way.
right? Did you have a pet? What was your pet's name?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Don't you
wow.
miss Fifi? You must miss Fifi.
I'm gonna say make an intelligence roll for that one.
Okay, but I can use my pleasant social interactions for this.
You're borderline on this one. Because you said it in such a sweet tone, I'll allow that one, but this is borderline unpleasant as you try to manipulate these people, so I'll let you use it this time.
Okay. So where is that one? Oh, there it is. Okay.
And this would be a challenge 3.
Challenge 3. All right. I want to put some effort into this.
Okay.
So I am going to do that.
What we got here?
Ooh, nice.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. I said it real sweet. I had the honey dripping out, just
Yeah.
pulling all the stops.
That is interesting. Okay.
Thank goodness.
So you see the person, you see this Pelu, their eyes kind of widen and look to you like this thought never crossed their mind, and then you see them immediately glance towards Taris, who hasn't left your side still, and looks back to you and says, Taris is still here.
I thought she walked away.
No.
Okay.
She's been here the whole time. She looks to you.
I don't care.
I didn't think so.
I don't care.
So she looks to you with like wide, appreciative eyes, and then sort of glances to Taris, and she sinks back down into that sort of muted tone and says, "There is nothing that I would need back in Glavis. I am fine here. But I have duties to attend." And it looks like she's trying to avoid your conversation, or maybe
I'm gonna
Taris.
pretend to defer, but man, I am memorizing her face so I can talk to her later.
Mm-hmm. And you know her name.
Or him. I'm not actually sure if Pelu. It's got a very sort of just agendered thing.
Yeah.
Going there.
Yeah.
So, Pelu.
Yes.
When you arrived and shipwrecked upon this island, what caused the wreck?
The island flowered and led us into its warm embrace, but we were not prepared for it. We still had the inaccuracies of our gods that led us astray.
How did the island appear?
What do you mean? The way it always is. It flowered like a great blossoming flower. Verbs.
Did your ship not see it?
We saw it. We explored closer and attempted to figure out what it was and if it needed the teachings of our false gods, but We did not expect it to open as it did.
Was there a giant whirlpool around the island when you tried to land?
Yes.
And the storm as well?
Yes.
Inside, I'm thinking, man, they made it through that whole storm, just get wrecked. But
I mean, to be fair, you guys almost did the same thing.
yeah, we just rolled really good.
Yeah.
But
All right. Is there something here that I'm not seeing? Like I'm trying. Like the storm started 3 weeks ago. They arrived here
2.5 weeks
just
ago.
around the same time.
Yep.
To me, there's got to be some connection between the storm and this island and this shipwreck.
So you can roll me an intelligence roll to see if Zariff can piece things together, right? Because piecing things together is kind of your jam. So we'll call it. I'll even let you use searching, and we'll call it a difficulty 4. I'm about giving clues. Yeah, cool.
Damn.
So you're trying to see how these things are connected. You're trying to take that long view. Okay, so what Zariff has been able to piece together with regards to this whole situation, right, is you guys went for the storm. It's likely that these people, though he seems to be muted, they are missionaries and were just out exploring the ocean. It's likely that they got caught in the storm and happened to survive through it. Not as well prepared as you guys were, but it doesn't sound like they expected to find this island. They weren't searching for the island. They were out. And what you know of Glavis is that they are not aggressive about their religion, but they are active missionaries, right? And they try to spread it. Like you'll see missionaries of the gods breaching into the different kingdoms of the steadfast, right? It's like if you're playing Civ 6 and you want the religious victory, you send your apostles out there, kind of thing. So it's widely believed that there could be other landmasses out to sea. Clearly some people know of them and they keep it discreet because if you control the one trade route, that's beneficial towards you and no one else, right? So it is widely believed that there are other places, despite the steadfast and the main land of the Ninth World being so massive. So it's not unheard of, especially with another quote unquote sea kingdom being out there to send people out to sea. So it's likely that these guys just got lost at sea and hit the storm and found their way here. Does that make sense to Zariff?
So they were out there not looking for the storm, they just happened to survive.
Yeah.
That's not really giving me enough. I'm trying to find something there, and I don't know what the next question I need to ask is to gather any more information.
Well, you're
I feel like if we're in the presence of Terrace, though, like we already kind of had our like aha moment with this guy, and like we've probably got a soft place in his heart because he knows that he might be able to get back home, but he's not going to be offering up anything more if we're talking in front of Terrace. We're probably going to have to come back later this evening.
Yeah, I was going to say you're astute enough to have noticed that moment.
Discreetly.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. You're astute enough to have noticed that Silica was behaving a certain way, and then once she got the answer that sufficed for her, she backed off entirely and was like, oh, okay, so the island's just great.
Yeah, the island's great. Everything's great here.
Yeah. So you would have seen her conversational tone change. Yeah.
All right, that works.
Yep. So he looks to you and says, if there's nothing else, I have important work to do. I need to... All of the new incumbents are tasked with watching the city. You need anything else?
Thank you.
Have a good day. And he like bows deeply towards you, and the hood kind of drapes to the side, and he raises up and says, if there's nothing else... And he turns and begins to walk towards the clearing. Okay. Taras looks to you and says, well, I assume that this suffices for you, and you will be joining the flock, yes?
It's a wonderful little establishment you've got going here. Emphasis on little. I like kind of a wonderful little establishment you've got going here. We'd be happy to stay longer and learn about your gods. God.
Just the one.
Just the one. Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Harris, how did you get your tattoo? Did we ask her that already?
You haven't. You haven't.
I asked that.
Oh.
She looks to you and again pats you on the shoulder and she says, "Well, the same as you, young man. He gifted it to me. God of the island.
You felt pain, and it was through death?
I feel pain every time the island blossoms, as do we all, as our God takes from us our sins."
So we just have to keep leveling up every day in order to keep raising our stats, right?
That's what it is. Yeah. You have to fight it, but just go out and fight boars in the island until you're level 60.
That's the grind,
that's
right?
how you do it. Yeah.
The Numenera grind.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys wanted a grind fest, as you said. You said, "Hey, I want to fight a lot of spiders," and I said, "All right, deal." That's what I heard, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fight spiders. I'm not fighting more Cephalaean.
Yeah. You're like the hand spiders; they're fine. Yeah. So she looks to you and she says, "How did you come by yours? You said death and pain, yes?"
On our trip through the storm, someone was hit by lightning. They were destroyed. I tried to resuscitate them, and as I put my hand to their chest, I felt a power, an essence, something travel through my arm, and an intense burning on my shoulder. And when I looked down, I had this marking.
She sort of slides the arm from your shoulder to like around your shoulders and kind of pulls you in and says, "Then you have clearly been blessed. It appears as though the man was too weak to shoulder his own burden of sin, but you are strong enough to not only carry yours, but his as well. Good for you. Good for you."
I am strong, yes.
And Silica, you get the nega Silica. You see that she's clearly working that same kind of essence on Arri. Placating him, telling him what he wants to hear about his tattoo.
I think they call it like the bitch radar or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Is what is going on
Yours
here.
is like, boop!
I feel
boop.
it. It's creeping.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And, like,
she's
and then I get a little terrified. I don't act on it, but I feel jealous. Like I'm a little jealous because like Arri was my friend first, so it's petty.
Yeah, like I manipulated him first. And he did what I told him on the boat.
petty.
And now, lady.
We've had bonding, and now you're just here.
Yeah, so she's clearly Arri. She's clearly flowering you up with buttery, she's trying to, or buttering you up with flowery words, trying to sway you to her cause.
I don't know if Ari's smart enough to be swayed, but he definitely is like, "Oh, somebody to talk to."
Yeah,
and so kind
and
of.
she will talk.
Being around these people this long, am I able to see like what the cloaks are made of? Is it similar to the sails, or is it like just cloth that happens to be blue?
This seems to be dense cloth, like art equivalent to denim. Like it's that thick, like canvas cloth, not the sails. The sails were, if anything, similar to the tower.
The tower, yep.
Yeah. So the sails and the tower seem to be, at least I think Wyloch said as much, they seem to be some kind of Numenera. These cloths seem to be mundane.
Okay. I'm just trying to gather intel. It's a constant thing I do.
Fair.
So joining the, what did you call it, the flock? What would we do?
Well, for starting, you would join Pelu and his companions, and you would watch the city and look for openings. If we want to appease our god, we must destroy the sacrilege of that tower and the people, the heretics inside that refuse his great power.
Has there been openings?
So often the gate opens when the gods leave, and we try to get people inside, but they are always cast out, as you were, by the heretics and the non-believers. But we're looking for openings every day, over, under, around.
So I want to take a stroll down memory lane of walking from inside the town and walking up to the gates. they had a typical, pattern to them, right? The ones in the town, there really isn't anything.
Yeah, the guards had like your atypical guard rotation, right? So, like around the town, through the town, 2 guys outside the door, 2 guys outside of Burnerbow's tent, and there was almost always 2 guys outside your tent as newcomers. Yeah.
Just in the entourage that threw us out.
Mm-hmm.
How many guards were there? Because there was enough for like, at least 2 or 3 per.
Yeah, so there was enough for two for each of you. So there was 8 right there, and then 1 being Jarl.
All right. So, but do I know that there's a lot more than that?
Yeah, so you did a couple laps around the town, and you're fairly astute and at least pay attention. Your guess would be that there's probably close to 20 to 30 guards.
How many people in this grouping that I've seen so far?
In this group, you see about 20 people in the shanty town itself, and you saw like 10 or so in the circle, watching the city.
Okay. I don't have any loyalty to Delorme. I don't have any loyalty to these people. Mm-hmm. I'll say whatever I gotta say to get to the mission.
Yep.
And I don't know how the rest of you guys feel about that.
I think Silica's made her point obvious.
I mean, here's the problem. Like, you can't play a playa, right? So, like, I feel like I can't really, okay?
Yep.
So I feel like I can't really probably do much when dealing with terrorists. Like, our radar, like, we're going to basically cancel each other out.
That's fair.
Is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. I have a greater sense of not loyalty to, because like Burnerbow didn't really treat us very nicely either. Nobody's really treated us very nicely. This whole island is trying to kill us. But he did show us hospitality, and I'm pretty sure Zariff was the one who's like, our word is why you should believe us, that we won't turn on you. So if my compatriot over here is going back on that, I'm
not trying to do that. Like I don't want to sell out the city, mm-hmm. But if we're gonna get the information through doing that, I'm not against that.
I'd be okay with letting slip some tactical information, because it's probably stuff they already know anyways.
Right.
They've been watching the city. They probably have an idea of their numbers and their rotation and all of this. And we were supposed to have been kind of pseudo prisoners of theirs, and that's why we got kicked out of the city.
Right.
So I mean, we got to be careful about, like, why would you possibly know that? Like, it's got to be careful with that.
Right.
So while this whole conversation's going on, real quick, what is Wyloch doing? I mean, Arri's busy getting manhandled left and right. Man and lady handled. So, what is Wyloch doing?
So, is Terrace talking to someone, or
it's a pause in the conversation right now.
Okay. I say, again, I like the cut of your jib. I find what they're doing to be perverse. You're in tune with the island, yes? Your god?
Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm. And the tower as well?
No, the tower is a sacrilege. The tower must be brought down.
Certainly. But do you feel in tune with it? Do you feel it? Do you feel its malignant presence?
Oh, of course. Yes, by all means.
And it continues to defile people who choose to let it every day, including today.
Every day.
Interesting. Are you aware that it's currently disabled?
Disabled? How is it enabled? What do you mean?
And I step back and just let her stew on that a little bit.
I don't understand. The tower's vile presence is what fuels the usurpers, the heretics.
I walk away from her, and I'm sort of, as I'm walking past Silica, I say, she doesn't actually know anything about the tower.
Yeah, I was like, I know, I'm really feeling Wyloch's power play on this one. I like it. I like it.
I want to make you roll something.
He didn't know that as of the ground stopped. She doesn't know that it's not working right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now I know. So I sort of relay that to Silica, basically affirming that we know for certain that this is a probably completely false holy woman.
So,
God bless you, Wyloch.
so Taris, I don't expect you to, open wide all your trust to us newcomers, but I'm a man of action. I don't like to just sit and wait and watch. What openings, what plans do you have to actually make progress within your mission?
So the whole time she's talking to you, she's staring at the back of Wyloch as he walks away. And she like that's she's talking out of like the side of her mouth to you, and she looks to you and says, I'm sorry." She turns back to you. What plans do we have? Oh yes, I believe that there are other entrances into the island that connect with the tower. Matter of finding them and getting down there. Destroy it from within.
So, would you be looking for a group to go look, per se?
Are you offering?
I'm an explorer, I'm a traveler. My companions are quite adept as well. Perhaps we could go find the information for you.
Typically any newcomers are sent to watch the city, but you are new enough that it wouldn't cause any scene. You said you're an explorer and your companions are explorers as well.
We all have our niches that we fall into, but yes, I think that we have worked quite well together for a time.
Yes, if you found the doors into the island, we could find wherever this usurper's tower leads in deeper. I believe it leads straight down. If we could find the column they call the Tower of Life and destroy it from within, it would surely fall, crushing the city and those within it. Yes, so I would have you do this.
So perhaps we could sit and discuss what where you have searched, what attempts you have made, so that we're not wasting your efforts.
Yes. Yes, I like this. All of you, your friend as well. And she motions towards the thusly stormed off Wyloch.
He's slightly left of center.
He did seem off.
I mean, literally, you saw him slightly left of center.
That is also... God damn it.
Wins the night.
Gold star for the night.
Oh. Fuck. I walked into that one. I walked into it. Golly. Okay. Gloves are off. Spiders attack. Hand spiders attack everywhere. Oh, man. Okay. Yes, I did see that.
So, perhaps what will work best for you to do this? Would we start now? Is that a meeting tomorrow?
We can. It is barely daybreak. We can start this now. I can provide you with. I don't have an exact map of the island, but I can provide you with some generalities.
Do you have, parchment or hides to?
Yes. Yes, I would avoid talking to anyone of this plan. Some of us just wish to let them live there, but they are weak.
Well, then,
newer
Glance
people.
at someone? Did she just glance at someone?
Yeah, she glances in the direction that Palu went.
Perhaps you and I could do this apart from everyone, and then I could fill in my companions.
This could work. You seem to be the most sensible of them. And she side-eyes Silica. Fast. You got dirt on your shirt.
I got some.
Yes,
dirt on
but
my
I
shirt.
think Silica understands that.
Oh no! I understand that Zariff needs to be dealing with her.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, I occupy her. That frees you to go talk to Palo.
Yeah, I like this. We got an understanding.
Cool. So she looks to you and says, yes, you seem to be the most sensible. It would be easy working with you. I can provide you with what information our scouts have gleaned from the island and where we think the entrances might be. We have no way to get into them. We found several doors, but... and you can see that like her excitement has kind of taken over, and she's locked out for a second. Where
So
she begins to babble.
I will, regale her of, a tale or two of getting into, hard to reach places, just to kind of bolster myself up. Number one, it's going to take up some time, which I'm looking to do, and it's going to assure her that, hey, I'm committed to this, and get myself seated in better with her.
Okay.
And then also, as she's talking about the doors and no way to get into them, we heard from the twins about when they saw our symbol. So I casually just move my sleeve up to scratch if I have an itch, and I'm trying to show the symbol that I got from the spider bite, which as I recall, match the ones on the doors that we heard about.
Yes.
Just to see if she notices that and reacts at all.
I will say that she doesn't react, but she seems enthralled with Zariff, that she might not have even noticed your casual attempt to, what is this? Okay. Yeah. She seems to be enthralled by his conversation about how good at getting into places and besmirching relics and tombs as he is, defiled old gods, kind of thing. And you see her arm like kind of slip off Arri, and then she takes yours, like she arm in arms yours, and lets you kind of lead her towards the. Arri, are you upset about this?
I'm a little upset.
Are you visibly upset?
I lost my friend. Yeah.
If you're visibly upset and she notices that, she may grab you. Like if you like kind of like make a motion. I apologize. Come with me.
We're twins with the thing.
Yes,
what?
yes.
I can't steal your girl.
Terrible wingman.
Mr. Steal Your Girl over here. Come with me, disciple. Yeah, yes. What is your name? And she reaches a hand out to kind of re-embrace you, Arri.
My name is Arri.
Good. Well, come with me, and we'll discuss this plan. I'll bring you more into the fold and teach you of this god of ours.
Okay.
And she kind of puts an arm around you again, but still is arm in arm with Zariff as she begins to lead the two of you off towards one of the tents, thus leaving Silica and Wyloch by yourselves, standing out in the middle of this shanty town. What are you doing?
And you're welcome.
I have a little moment where I'm like, oh gosh, Arri, like, I hope he's okay.
He's super converted. He's done. He doesn't even know
Oh
yet.
gosh, yeah, we're losing him. But I am just like, as soon as I see that Terrace is not at all paying attention to me anymore, which is great, I just sort of like kind of mentally high five Wyloch on that. The sort of given her the heckin' bamboozle. I was happy to see her kind of having to take a step back down from that pedestal that she put herself on. And I
literally give you a mental high five. I can do that.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
True, we can't do that.
Okay, so we do that.
It only hurts for one of you.
So I noticed that she had when she had been talking about there are people who believe that we should just let the people of the city just live their lives while we live our lives, and that glance towards like where Pelu was walking off to, that's where I want to go. I want to see if I can track Pelu back down.
Okay.
Because I don't know who else is new at this point. Like I wouldn't be able to tell probably.
Well,
like
she told you enough that you would know that the people watching the city are the new people, typically, is what she said.
Okay.
She said usually the young incumbents are sent to watch the city.
So that's where Pelu was going off to walk
to walk that perimeter.
Yeah.
So you beeline towards the tree line. Wyloch, where are you going, or what are you doing?
Cloak pulled tight like Dracula, looking around, following Silica.
Are you like walking with her, or are you just creepy walking behind her and she doesn't know it yet?
Wait, I'm sorry. So we're going back through the forest to the tree line to watch.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't do that. I'm looking around, wondering. I'm just surveying. This is sort of like a campsite, a small village sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And a lot of stuff was brought from a ship. So I'm trying to sense magic and see if there's any maybe religious, what's the word? Tokens,
Relics
whatever, that they brought with them, because that might be causing conflict, because I know that from my book that Numenera causes conflict with other Numenera. I mean, we saw that with the ship in the storm, right?
Yep.
So I'm just surveying the situation to glean anything I can. Is anything glowing to me from within tent or something like that?
Okay. So what I need you to do is take an XP as you begin to sense Numenera around you.
Take or lose one?
No, you take one. You are getting an XP.
Oh, okay.
So
and
this
you
is a
get
DM
to
intrusion?
and you get to decide to give one to someone else.
Okay. Right now?
Yep.
Everyone's got 2, right?
Everyone has 2. You have a third one.
Well, we'll say that the mental high five was to Silica, so that's how we'll tie that to the RP.
Okay, I dig this. And I need you to make me a DC 4 intelligence check to defense.
Intelligence 4. Gonna use effort. No assets, no bonuses.
Nope.
Ugh.
Failed. You take 4 intelligence damage as you have some feedback when you try to cast out and sense Numenera around you. Something else is doing it almost in reverse, right? That's the only kind of glean information. It's like, you know, when you're tuning the radio and you get that awful feedback and it like hurts your head, except it's mental. You feel like whatever your spider senses are kind of doing and sensing Numenera, something is reverberating it back towards you. So you're not able to actually sense any of the Numenera in the area, and something just cranked up that dial of feedback like it's preventing you from doing that.
All right, so I'm twitching out a little bit and then kind of go down to my knees.
And as you collapse under the agony of this pain, we come back over to Silica. Silica, you have reached the edge of the forest, and you can see several people dotted around the line in blue cloaks. You're not entirely sure which one is Pelu, but not that hard to find out. You can ask around.
So I do want to go to the nearest person and ask for Pelu.
Okay.
And I want to kind of check him out.
This person or Pelu?
This person specifically, just kind of like a brief like up and down, just to kind of see what their physical state is like.
Okay.
They are. I'm trying to get a sense of like, I guess if like the newer people are the ones who are watching the city. We're even newer, so I'm trying to gauge like, okay, our physical fitness versus having spent a couple of weeks here versus like the exsanguinated people who've been here quite a bit longer, I would assume. I'm kind of trying to establish a timeline. I don't know if I'd be that.
Yeah. So you can give them a look over, right? This person is female that you kind of grab and spin around. When you kind of,
I don't know if I want to just like grab her because she might have weapons. So I would maybe kind of, I don't know if I want to like startle her.
Sure. So you gently,
okay,
you know, get her attention, right?
I don't want to give you any openings.
What? So you gently get her attention and turn her, or she turns towards you, right? And you can see that she's toned, looks like I guess a swimmer, right? Like that kind of athletic build. Not exsanguinated. She looks like she has relatively the same kind of muscle definition as you guys. So it hasn't been long that she's been here. The 2.5 weeks might make sense. But she looks fine, and she's, excuse me, what can be done for you? In that same weird monotone voice.
And I'm gonna kind of put on a little bit of a I'm looking for Pelu. like sort of valley girl almost kind of act, a little bit of an airhead, just to see how she reacts to that.
Okay.
To see if I can kind of snap her out of that monotone. I want to see how deep the brainwashing goes.
Okay. She looks to you and smiles, and she says, "Oh, Pelu spoke of you. You must be one of the newcomers."
I am. I totally am.
You slipped into that too quickly. She says, "Well, it is good that you have found your way to the true god of the island."
Oh yeah, it's so great. It's so great what you guys have going here. I'm just so excited to be a part of it. I was hoping to get more information from Pelu.
What information would you like? Perhaps I could provide you with some.
You know, Pelu and we've got this rapport going, and you know, we know some of the same places and some of the same people. So, you know, I'm just looking for Pelu. I really want to have a nice little chat with him because he's kind of cute.
He is well spoken. I believe he's watching that section, and she points you across the clearing. And you see that there's like 2 people, and then there's another person kind of pacing, and that's the one she's clearly pointing at.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. It was so nice meeting you. And I just sort of like, kind of like, as I'm saying goodbye, like walk away.
You as well.
Okay, and I
she
realize
turns and goes back.
That brainwashing goes deep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you beeline over towards Pelu, and you see him turn and notice you, and then you see his behavior not quite erratic, but you see that he's like, he's clearly trying to avoid eye contact and like touch things that don't need like. He's rearrange this plant. As he's clearly doing that, like I'm just acting natural, everything's fine. Yeah.
And I can clearly tell that he is very much not fine.
Yeah.
I have touched a nerve with him. And so, Pelu, I couldn't help but notice that, you know, maybe things aren't going well for you here. You know, it's got to be rough being so far from home, having your gods being attacked in such a way, having everything you know just stripped away from you. And you know, I just want you to know that I'm here for you.
It has been difficult. It has been a hard transition. I have spent my entire life in the service of false gods, and now that I am here, I see that now, but it is still difficult to accept, and I know that my family is not free of sin, that until they find their way here to the island of true believers, that nothing that can be done for them, but I must stay here and serve my time.
But you know, Pelu, you've been a missionary your whole life, and now that you've found the true way, you could take this message back home to your family. You've obviously, you know, you've got the skills, you've got the people skills, and we've got a boat. We have to complete our mission first before we can take you home, and I think you can help us with that. Sorry, I try not to get too excited there at the end.
Roll me a pleasant conversation.
Okay.
Difficulty is 3.
Difficulty 3.
She's developing a rapport here. Is that a boost?
Yeah, I mean
I'll give you an asset for it.
Yeah.
For lawyer Ted.
Yes.
Fucking A. Okay.
Silica knows her calling.
Okay. That's why I put the lady in there, to give you a challenge.
That's why I let Zariff take care of her.
He looks to you, and like you see like that that look that like a younger sibling gives an older sibling kind of thing, right? That like, oh man, you're so right all the time. How did you get so awesome? And he looks up to you and says, You're correct. I could bring the word of the island, and I understand that I wouldn't be paying my penance, but for every one person I bring here, that would be my penance tenfold, and I will come back here. I will come back and stay and live my penance here. But yes. What is the mission that you're doing? How can I help you?
You know, the storm. If we're gonna take you back to spread the good news of your island god, we're going to have to get rid of the storm so that our ship can safely traverse these seas and so that we can keep bringing people back. And we had to find out why this storm is happening. What's causing it? So that we can spread the good news.
Okay. He looks to you and says, There is a creature I have encountered in the forest. I didn't tell anyone. I thought it was a strange I thought it was a strange anomaly. I thought the island was playing tricks on me. She calls herself the Lily.
Wait, okay, so I'm okay, yes.
She calls herself the Lily. She is a woman made of stone, of white stone, and there are blue cracks that run through her as almost as if she's flowing like water. And she seems to know the island more than anyone else. She comes from inside the island, she says, but I have only seen her once. I can show you the door that I saw her near.
Palu, that would be amazing.
Sweet.
I would love to meet this Lily.
And from there, we'll cut back over to Zariff and Arri. You guys are inside of one of the tents, sat at the table, parchment scrawled out, and she has basically placed on the table a makeshift map. You've seen this more from the outside more recently, so you know this map isn't to scale or exact same shape or anything like that. But it's a rough generalization of what the island could look like. The most focal point is on the center, with complete lacking at the tips of the petals. Right, their main focus is on Delorme and the places around. And she points out that there are several markings on the map. And she said these are doors that exist that we believe lead down. I think all of the doors connect somewhere in the center, and that is how we can gain access to the Tower of Life. That's what you want to call it.
There's different names for different things. I know your opinions differ from those, and I just kind of like nod my head towards the city.
Heretics.
So, are they like? Is it like a pentagon around the city? Are they equidistant, or is it just like random places?
Roll me a searching. We'll call it DC or difficulty. We'll call it difficulty 4. You're not entirely sure, based on the fact that this is a hand sketch and there's no scale, but if you kind of look at it from the bird's eye view, it looks reminiscent of that same symbol. There's only a few doors. There's not, I think it's 9, Wyloch? There's not 9 doors, but they have marked 5 doors, and they seem to be in an almost concentric circle. Like, if there were more in between, it could fill out the remaining 9 of that sun.
Have you opened these doors, Terrace?
We have not. We have not been able to.
Question. Go ahead.
That's why we think that attacking the town directly might be the best answer. But if you're willing to go out and find out if these doors can be opened at all, do something.
Are they vertical doors, or are they like a cellar door on the ground?
Both. They're a diagonal door. They seem to be like a mound that comes out of the ground, kind of like I guess like a storm door, like a storm cellar, right? That like mound out, and you kind of descend into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Can you hold that up again, Wyloch? All right. So there's eight things there, and
I totally made this up though.
That's fine. But that's what we've been going by.
Yeah.
So if I start at the center of town, and that tower is a circle, and the yurts are connected to that.
Yep.
Is the city of Delorme, is that a circular city as well?
Yes.
and then there are 5 of these doors that are roughly in a circle pattern that fit roughly that pattern.
Yes. Like there could be 4. There could be 3 more doors.
There could be 3 more doors.
Yep.
Like
basically, if you see the doors that they've marked, again, it's not to scale, so you're not really entirely sure. But if you in your head trace it around, you're pretty sure you could guesstimate where the other doors could be, if there are in fact other doors.
Are there 8 petals to this flower?
There are not. There are more than 8 petals, and there is 3 layers of petals.
Is there 24 petals?
Yes. Yes, there is.
All right, so it's patterns within patterns within patterns. So I'm thinking that, like, even once we get inside the tower, there's going to be yet another iteration of that sigil. I mean, I know Wyloch said something to that extent, but I wasn't the one that was there. So this is even more clues. Taris, what do you have that I might be able to copy this down on, so that once we set out, we have a copy and you won't lose this.
She brings out, there's extra rolls of reams of parchment. She brings out more and some writing implements, some charcoal or something like that to allow you to write.
Is this something that's going to be able to travel?
I mean, if it gets wet, probably not. But worst case scenario, you could dump out that nasty tea and stuff it inside that canister. That seems to be watertight.
I don't know how big that canister is versus how much map space they're going to need. I was hoping for maybe some spider hide or something.
I'm sure you could find some spiders and kill them, but these people don't look like they're well armed. I mean, the spiders have plenty of arms. Yeah, as far as you know, you saw one guy reach into his robe, but you actually haven't seen a weapon yet.
Don't let him see that canister. I'm not there. Never mind.
What?
So I begin, plotting and planning with her while I'm, drawing this map. Every once in a while, I'll make, some kind of, comment about, oh, well, this could be, like such and such a job, or, do we get our own cloaks before we head out?
She looks at you and smiles, and she says, yes, any new incumbents of the faith will get them.
What was I didn't hear you.
She says, yes, any new incumbents of the faith will get them.
So, Arri, what do you think? Does this sound like a plan?
I think the plan sounds fine. And I kind of take Zariff aside and say, any god that would slowly kill you as opposed to immediately kill you seems like trouble to me.
That's what the comparison is. Any god that smite you immediately must be shady as hell.
I don't like it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm ready to go on an adventure, and I'll head out with you.
Oh,
we need to gather our friends, I believe, though, Zariff.
Absolutely.
And Wyloch's always difficult to track down as he kind of like looks over his shoulder. Is he there? Oh, okay.
Yep, he doesn't seem to be there.
Wyloch is quite the crafty one.
Gosh.
That's a free gem intrusion for that one. God damn it. So before you leave, she opens the trunk that's in there and she pulls out more of these blue cloaks. It seems as though she has several of them, all looking identical, and pulls out 2 for you. And then she kind of looks to you, Zariff, with a quizzical look, and she says, is that enough?
Well, obviously our companions, if we're going to be working together, we should all have the cloaks.
Usually only the faith will get them, but I'll make an exception this time. She grabs 2 more out.
What are they made of?
They just seem to be like denim almost. Like they're just like a dense, like canvas, like a very sturdy textile.
Is there something on this island that we've seen that these could be made from?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing you have seen as of yet.
So I would imagine that this is going to take a while to, kind of plot and plan.
Yep.
Because it's not just sitting there copying the map. It's like, okay, what kind of notes do you have about this door? What do you have about this? Like, okay, if we're going to go from, the camp here to this door, what kind of things would we encounter? I'm going to grill her for information, as best as I would be able.
Okay. Yeah, so she'll provide you with all the information she has, like what section to avoid to not hit the strange lizard people. She points out where Death Valley is. She points out Death Cove, right? The other one was the Calais. She points out where the Calais Gardens are.
Death Cove is not an irony. That's what I have written down.
Yes, it is not an irony at all. You're made aware that the spiders exist all throughout the island, as do the Zariff. They hunt them. The Angusk, they also exist throughout the island, except for Death Cove and the Calais Gardens. But they are mostly harmless and make for good eating if you can kill them.
Besides yourself, is there anyone sensible that lives here?
In this town?
On this island?
Not that we know of. Everyone has gone to the Infernal City or done what's right and joined us.
I mean of the others. There's the Zunak and the Angusk and whatever.
Well, the Angusk are beasts. They are not intelligence. The Cephaline are intelligent, but they would rather kill and eat you than talk with you. The
Zurak.
The Zurak, they don't. They're much the same as the Cephaline. I'm sure if you captured one, you might be able to ascertain some information from it about the island, but we've never tried or managed to, and I don't even know if they speak our tongue. As far as Death Cove, there are beings, I assume, like us that live there, but I wouldn't try it.
But you've encountered no other life that reasons, just kills, attacks?
Yes. Unless there's another ship crash that sends more people from the Steadfast.
All right. Well, as soon as we are ready and prepared, I believe we are set to set out.
Excellent.
And I'll take the cloaks and I'll say, do you want me to go look for our friends?
I think we can do that.
Sure. So you guys leave the tent and you see that Wyloch is seemingly in agony, as if tased, holding his head on his knees, making some kind of Wyloch shout and or grunt. You see him clearly in great amounts of pain before you.
Wyloch, what's the matter?
I rush up. He's probably got sunstroke. Here, put the cloak on him. And I'm trying to
sunstroke. Okay.
In the middle of a dense jungle, he's having sunstroke.
He's got sunstroke.
It happened to an uncle of mine once.
What? Okay.
All right, so
does he react to us at all?
Do you?
Yeah, when does this end? Is it still like
it hurts, but like you're able to power through. Yeah, the pain was immediate, and the longer you try to sense Numenera, the more bombardment you get. But if you sort of relax your senses, you can kind of tune it out.
Okay, all right. So I have enough sense to relax my senses and jolt up, and I see you've got the cloak. So I say, whatever, just get me out of here.
Okay, and I'll throw a cloak over him and get him out of the sun.
We have to find Silica. We have We have the mission within the mission within the mission.
Yeah, you guys are nailing it so far. So we'll have you guys... Silica, would you be returning back, or are you just going right to that door? Or to right to where you found this Lily person?
So, Pelu, he's like, okay, does he actually remember the door? And can he take me to it? Or does he, like, know anything about the symbol? It really just depends on how much Pelu knows.
So Pelu had said that he saw the Lily person, and that he can take you towards the door where he found her.
I'm going with him. I'm going straight for it.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So the three of you begin to look for Silica. Silica, you are being led deeper into the forest, to the to the northeast. And Pelu's relatively quiet unless you're asking him questions. He kind of glances around, almost suspiciously. I'm sure your best guess is that he's making sure no one else sees him leading you off, right? Because he could be in trouble.
Right. I kind of get that feeling like we need to be discreet, because the other newcomers are too far brainwashed to be trusted.
And he begins to lead you towards deeper into the woods. As, like I said, the further away you get from the circle, the deeper it gets, or the more dense it gets. And before long, maybe a good 15, 20-minute walk into the woods, just straight ahead with a few glances back, you see that there is one of these almost storm cellar doors, slanted at like a 35-degree angle. And on it, there is a symbol that is identical to the one you bear, and another symbol of which you've never seen before.
How convenient.
What? It's like I'm a dungeon master, and I've mastered this entire dungeon.
Imagine. All right. So I where's this Lily person?
This is I don't know. I stumbled this way. I honestly I got lost going back to the town, but she found me. I'm not sure where she comes from.
I want to look around the door, and so this door has my symbol, but then another symbol I don't recognize.
Yes.
Can I try to open the door?
You try to put your hand on it?
Yes.
So as soon as you put your hand on it, much like the tower, that light, boom, lights up. And as it lights up, we get a $10 super chat from Dawnforge Cats. This is Happy Gaming, Saber Dice Crew. Thanks, Andrew. You are dope. So you put it on there, and that one symbol lights up, but the second symbol stays dim.
Okay. I probably would still try to open the door because I don't know if I don't have like a lot of dungeoneering experience like Zariff necessarily would. So I would probably try to see if there was a way to open the door since it did light up.
Would you like assistance? And you hear Pelu asking you if you want assistance.
Does he say it in brainwashed voice like that? Or
yeah. Yeah, he says it in his normal brainwashy voice.
What can you tell me about these symbols on the door? I don't want him touching it yet, so I'm kind of in between him and the door.
We're not
I don't
sure.
trust the brainwash voice.
Every one of Taris's hunters, they seem to believe that these doors have the same symbols on them. We're not entirely sure what they mean. We haven't been able to open any of these doors. That's why we watch the city.
You've never seen the symbols elsewhere, or they're only on the doors?
They seem to be on the doors. That's as far as I know.
Does he seem freaked out by the fact that I just made the door glow?
Not really.
No.
No.
Okay. And was I successful in trying to get the door open, or seeing if there was a way to open it?
No, so you put your hand on it and seemed like, did you try to like open the door, like push on it? That's when he asked you if you wanted help, thinking that maybe it's stuck and two people pushing on it might help.
Do they open out or in?
There's no handles.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Pelu, why don't you touch it?
So he walks over and goes to shove the door, and the second symbol lights up.
Okay. Does the door move of its own accord, or do we need to...
Are you both touching it?
No.
The door doesn't move.
The door does not move. Where have we seen this before? I am terrible at remembering facts, so I'm just like, okay, that's weird. They're both lit up. Why is nothing happening?
Well, no, the second one, the only one's lit up. Only his is lit up.
Oh, okay. So I touched the door.
So you touch the door?
Oh yeah, we're both touching it now.
Cool. Take an XP. As you touch the door, and the door falls open, and both you and Pelu slide down into the tunnel beneath, and the door closes behind you.
All right, at least I got Pelu.
So you have 1 XP and 1 to give to somebody else. And that is where we'll wrap up tonight's episode.
Oh gosh!
Never split the party.
But it's Silica. It's just what she does.
Da, 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 da.
She can't be trusted, guys.
So before we wrap things up and hear from our
I wanna give
sponsors,
my
who do you want to
XP
give that XP to?
Zariff.
Cool.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
So Zariff, everyone should be at 3 except for Arri, I believe. Which means at 4, you can spend your 4 XP to gain a tier advancement.
I think Kenny is at 4.
You're at 4? Okay, so if you want, there are things you can use for your XP, like rerolls and things like that, or you can turn in all 4 of them at the same time and get an advancement on your tier. But we can discuss that offline. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go around since we're running a little bit late and I'll introduce everybody and hear from our sponsors. We'll start with Kenny, since you just fell in a giant hole to your supposed death. So who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of tonight's episode?
So I'm Kenny Hill. You can find me at twitch.tv/Kenny Hill. It's KENIHILL. And I am probably going to die. But this is sort of what Silica does. First, she jumps off a boat without thinking of the consequences. And now she's falling to her death. It's great fun. I love it.
True. We'll jump over to Jordan, the newly converted supplicant of this new church. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of today's episode?
I am Jordan. You can find me on YouTube by searching Forgotten Realms Explained. And I had a great time with tonight's episode. I felt a little quieter than normal because I was just really enjoying listening to everybody else. And I'll try to rectify that in the future. But you guys did great. And this was a lot of fun. And I'm excited to be part of this new church.
Yeah, you seem like it fits. It fits you. We'll jump over to Bill. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of tonight's episode?
Yeah, I'm Bill. I run a YouTube channel called Wyloch's Crafting Goods, where I show you how to make tabletop terrain with really, really cheap materials. And to quote Springsteen, you can't start a fire without a spark. So that's what we did.
It's true, and you guys are the spark. And last but not least, we'll jump over to Ted. Who are you? Where can we find you? Who are our sponsors, and what did you think of tonight's episode?
Absolutely. So Ted from Nerdarchy, you can pretty much find Nerdarchy anywhere, the website, the YouTube, over on all social media. I thought tonight's episode was awesome. I got to throw some nice puns out there that had everybody laughing, so that always makes my night. As far as the material goes, I thought it was splendid. There was some great role playing done by everybody. So looking forward to next week's episode. And of course, our sponsors are pyromancers.com, Dungeon Pater Studios. If you want to make some campaign prep that much easier, that much cooler, they got the maps for you over there, as well as Archania Workshop, awesome 3D printed stuff, whether it be dungeon tiles, whether it be terrain, whether it be minis. He's got loads of awesome stuff at really great prices.
Sweet. As for me, guys, I love the episode. I love these role-playing and weird mystery episodes. Those are my favorite. And if you guys want to see more of me and my DM and or playstyle, you can find me live on Twitch/UnmadeGaming, or you can catch all of our VODs up there, and soon to be videos up on YouTube/UnmadeGaming. And with that, from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.
Night.